All right. Welcome to the Grease Monkey live stream channel. I am West or the Grease Monkey, whatever you would like. Uh did a whole upgrade on my whole streaming setup. I got transitions now, I got timers, I got structure. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Good coming up. So right now we're in our introduction phase. This is where I'm just gonna talk to you guys. I think the 6 of you in the chat right now. Good to see you. It's great to see us like 5 or 6 people just immediately in this live stream. It means a lot to me. I like to say thank you. Just sipping my coffee. So what we're gonna be doing today, Susan, good to see you. Always good to see you. Susan's our OG. She's been here probably every single live stream. So thank you for being here, Susan. Today we're gonna be creating an artwork. You know, we'll see if we finish it. We'll see if we don't. But I'm gonna try and finish it within the 2 to 3 hours I have. The structure's gonna go like, you know, I'll finish this introduction here. I'll do the concept and setup, which would be a little bit more in 3D. I'll set up the 3D scene, then I'll go to drawing, and then I'll start going and doing grease pencil stuff. You know, jumping back and forth. I'm gonna do 30 minutes and then 10-minute breaks where I chat. I don't have to use the full 10 minutes, but if you guys want to chat with me in those 10 minutes, I'll be talking about what I'm doing as I do it, and I'll be looking at the chat. It's right in front of me, so have it set up pretty well. But it'll be 30 minutes of working, 10-minute break, 30 minutes working, 10-minute breaks. And I think that gives me enough time to like stretch and not like destroy my back and my neck. And it'll give an opportunity for everybody watching here to, I don't know, chat me up, talk about Blender or talk about whatever. I mean, we're just here. The stream is called Draw and Hang. So if you want to talk about a movie or something that inspires you or something like that, please do it. So I'm really excited about this live stream. Like I said, I worked on my transitions, on my sound effects. I got the timers. I'm like getting professional here. Super profesh. So feeling good. Sipping on some black coffee. Anybody in the chat want to chime in? Tell me how you are. What's the weather like? How are you feeling? What is happening in your world? Because we got a full 2 minutes left of this intro here. Oh, I was also wearing these glasses too. I bought like for like $20. I bought like a bunch of different colored glasses. So I'll be on my streams. I'll be wearing different colored glasses as much as possible. I got a shirt that have cats and tacos, so that's pretty cool. You know, I'm changing up my aesthetic. They're rose tinted and they're not. Well, I'm wearing like contacts, but hopefully that shouldn't affect my color choices. So, all right. Oh, it's hot, Susan? Tasmania, right? Oh, man. I'm cold over here. All right. So today's stream, I'm going to be doing, if you see at the top, I added all sorts of stuff. At the top, the mood and theme, it's going to be trapped. I'm going to make a trapped, captured scene. I guess I could just go over my reference file that I compiled. I got a bunch of photos of like references. This scene at the top is kind of what I want to be emulating. This is from Tron Legacy. And it's like when he gets captured after he like hacks the building or whatever. And then like a helicopter comes and then shines his light in him. I'm going to make it more like sci-fi. So I might put like a mech instead or like a floating ship. But the whole theme or mood is like being trapped, being captured. And see if I can like put that into this artwork I'm going to be making and stuff. So send some cold over there, Susan. I wish I could. Wish I could put it in a box and send it. All right. So, ooh, maybe I'm talking too loud. All right. So we're about 20 seconds left to our intro here. Everybody in the chat, I hope you're having a good day. If you have any questions, please ask. Please use the chat. I'm here. I like to talk, and I don't mind postponing the artwork. that may be a little loud. Anyway, so let's go to the concept phase. All right. So now we got 30 minutes in. We're going to be doing our concepting, right? So let me move my mic because it's kind of like in my way. All right. So we're going to be doing the scene from Tron Legacy. He's being captured. It's a long road and stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do on the left side here, I have the camera. And the camera is right here. So this is what we're looking at. So let's just start building out a bunch of like primitives to set up the scene. But what I really want to do first is set up the camera. So if you go to your camera settings, go to camera, you'll see that you can change the sensor and stuff. But if you do this little menu here, I think it's called a hamburger menu. Nobody calls it that. I call it that, but that's technically what it's called. You click on this and you can actually pick the camera that you wanted to emulate. We got like GoPros and all this stuff here, Reds and stuff. So I'm just gonna choose Super 35 film. We're going for that film ratio, you know, aesthetic, right? So we set that. It doesn't really change anything. You won't be able to tell now. Once we have more stuff in the scene, you'll see how different it looks. So first things first, let's set up the ground plane. So we'll hit Shift A, hit the ground plane. We'll make it larger. Let's put our reference up a little higher too, just so I always have it handy. And let's make this a different color. Just make it a color that I can tell what it is. So here's our ground plane. Feeling good. Actually, let's do this. Let's go to viewport shading. Nope. Solid shading. So we'll go to solid shading. And then we're going to change the shading to random color. So now every object in the scene is going to have like a random color. And then I'll be able to like see the different objects. And you'll see what I'm talking about now. So we'll put random color. I guess we could change the matte cap on it, but we'll keep it to that color. And then we'll set up the scene. So let's start making our buildings. You see we have a different color there. We'll move this to the top. Hold on a second. I'm gonna. There we go. Sorry, I had a distracting screen on top. Okay, so here's our scene. You can see in our camera mode, it's all gray. Let's put it also into the solid mode, and also put the random color. All right, cool. So we can see that our camera is in the ground, so we'll lift it up. And then to use the reference as an image, it looks like the scene looks like it's about like the camera is about at like a butt level, right? Like this is where the horizon line is right here. So it's about at their knees, right? So the camera isn't too far off the ground. So let's make sure that's the case. So we got the camera, tools, and it's 3 meters off the ground. What is that? 9 feet. So that's basically at their head. So we're gonna lower it. We're gonna do it to like 3 feet off the ground. So there we go. We have a camera set up. 1 meter, which is 3 feet, right? I think so. I think it's 3 feet. 3 feet. Sorry for my American system here. Okay, so I'm going to move the cursor or move the origin of this, because if I rotate it, it rotates from the middle. So I'm gonna set the origin to the bottom. So now, oops, we're gonna set the origin to the bottom. So now it's from the bottom here, and I can rotate it, and it rotates at the bottom instead of the middle. So all right, so I'm just gonna go through and speed through making some buildings and making some interesting shapes. So let's start doing that. I'm going to use an array modifier, and then we're going to apply it. spread it out a little more. You know what? And I think, yeah, so we're gonna put a bunch of buildings. And from the reference here, let's see if we can get the reference. From the reference, it looks like we got some big buildings on here. There's kind of like an empty road on the right, big building on the left. So we're just gonna put a bunch of blocks. Let's put like 20. Maybe that's too many. We'll bring it closer. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the right side here, and I'm looking at the composition that I'm making. Hopefully you can see that right here. Maybe I should, for the camera, maybe I can make it darker for you to be able to see it. Maybe, there we go. Camera, viewport display, passport. There he goes. So basically, if you go to your camera settings, go to viewport display and change the passport. I think it says passport. Passport portal, passport patrol, whatever. Put it at 1. This will turn black, and you'll see that I don't know. I'm able to see it a lot better. So just looking at my left side here, I'm trying to make an interesting looking scene. It's probably going to be 1-point perspective. So we'll bring the building up to like here. Obviously our ground plane's not long enough, so let's make the ground plane longer. All right. It's going to go all the way to the back. Great. And then we're going to make it wider as well. There we go. Obviously these colors aren't gonna be doing it. Samuel Rodriguez just arrived. What are you doing? So what I'm gonna be doing, Sam, is I'm gonna be trying to make a scene like this top image here. This is a scene from Tron Legacy. It's gonna be like when he got trapped or captured. So that's the theme or mood that I'm going for. I'm not gonna emulate this completely. I'm just using this kind of like as a reference. So that's what I'm gonna be trying to make here. And right now we're in the concepting phase, if you can see like right here on the screen. So I'm spending about 30 minutes on concepting, then I'll decide if I'm going to do another 30 or if I should just go to drawing. And then from there I use this as a reference to use grease pencil and do my drawing and see if I can make a compelling artwork. So I made the cube and I'm using an array modifier, which is nice. So I'm going to then apply this modifier. So you could hit Control A, but if you hit the little arrow, you can apply it. Now if I go to edit mode, all these blocks are actually there. And I'll show you how. I'm going to be separating them so I can deal with them separately. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to make the blocks on the other side. So let me put some guidelines on our camera. So if you go to your camera mode, and you go to, let's see, camera mode. There's always so many menus here. And you just have to click through them all. Go to viewport display, the same place where you did the passport here. You can change that. Go to composition guides, and you can actually put guides on your screen. So I could do the center line. Can I even see it? Thirds. Oh, it's off. There it is. So you can see that it cuts my scene in half there. I got diagonals. So you got all these very neat ways to divide up your frame. And that's what I'm going to use for, you know, to set my composition. So I put the center one so I can see exactly where the middle of my screen is. And it looks like my horizon line is higher than I want it to be. So let's fix that. Alright, so right now, this is our scene. Obviously, you're seeing it on the other side. I'm going to select our blocks and move them to the left so I can center them better. And I'm just eyeballing this because I don't think it needs to be perfect. Alright, cool. So our buildings, so it's like we're looking down a road on our street. Our buildings are there. They're set up. And now, let's move this horizon line. And to move the horizon line, I'm just going to move the camera. And it looks like my horizon line kind of stays the same. So I'm going to rotate the camera. So let's go here. We're going to rotate it on the x-axis. And we're going to be emulating the same horizon line from our reference. So let's go to our reference again. So our horizon line here is near the bottom where these cars are at. It's where the knees are at. And this is where our eye line is. It's right here. That's where that horizon line is. So that's kind of like what I'm doing here. So it's a little high, so I can continue rotating. Let's see. Rotating on the X. A little higher. It's like the camera's kind of on the floor looking up. So we got our eye line there. Cool. All right. So we got our horizon set up. We got 20 minutes left. Great. Plenty of time. And Sam, always good to see you. Thank you for joining me, Sam. And thanks for the question. It's always, I always forget I gotta maybe repeat some of my stuff that I'm doing. Not everybody joins exactly at the time I start. Okay, so we got a horizon line. It's at the bottom, and that's how we're gonna make this scene. We got our blocks, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these cubes. So I'm gonna put call this building left, and then I'm gonna call the that was the wrong one. This is called building rights. And see, and they even changed colors, so that's pretty cool. And then building, did I spell building wrong? Left. Okay, great. Ooh, shoot. Okay, so we got our building left and our building right, and the colors keep changing. I guess that the naming has something to do with how it changes its color. So we got building left and building right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the building left, and then I'm going to hit M, and then move it into a new collections, and we'll call it building left as well. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. Building left. And then we'll choose our building right, and we'll move that one to another collection called building right. Great. So we got building left and building right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate each and every one of these blocks. Right now, it's one object here on the right, you see? But it has all these cubes in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the cube. I'm going to go to edit mode by hitting tab. Select them all, and then I'm going to hit P, right? It's going to give you a menu here. So it's asking me, how do you want to separate this this mesh? So I'm going to do it by loose parts. So it's gonna make an object out of every single building. So let's do that, loose parts. And you see, I have all the buildings here now, and they're all different colors because they're their own objects. You can see, boom, building 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes on. So I'm gonna do that for the left, and then I'm also gonna do it for the right. So edit mode, hit P, loose parts. There. So now we got all the buildings on the left and all the buildings on the right here. And now we can select the individual buildings and start making out better shapes and maybe put some more interesting shapes in here. So right now, my camera, let's see where what the focal length is, or essentially what lens it has, right? So let's figure out what lens it has. Okay, the lens it has is a 50 millimeter, right? So 50 millimeter, I mean, I'm not too keen. Anybody in the chat who knows better, 50 millimeters gets a little bit closer, and it's usually used for like close-ups or like headshots, or, you know, if you like want less depth. This is like a big street. I want to capture a big scene, so I'm going to do like a 28 millimeter. It's a wide lens, so it captures more of the scene. 28 millimeter. And see how you can't tell too much of a difference, but I'll just see like zooming in a higher millimeter and then zooming out. Actually, you can see the camera and what it looks like. So on the left side, you see what it looks like. You'll see that this is the 18 millimeter, which is really wide, and then, you know, you zoom in. The wider it is, the more you can see of the buildings, which is what I want. So let's do 18 millimeter for now. And I'm going to move the camera up now. And I can move it through the buildings if I wanted to, which looks pretty cool. But I'm just going to move it right next to a building. Maybe like this one here. All right. So we'll just do right there. And I can see now that my horizon line is a lot higher, and I don't want that. I want it lower. So we're going to look up even higher. So we're going to see these buildings. We want to see them towering over. All right. So all right, let's start making this more interesting. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna erase this one on the left, create a bit of an empty space over here, and then because I did that, I'm gonna actually move this a little forward. I want less space over here, but I do want some more interesting shapes. I may change my mind later. Who knows? Okay, so we got that going, and now I'm gonna start making each and every one of these a different shapes. So let's pick this one here. We'll go to, well, first thing I want to do is change the origin. So the origin right now is on this little, if you can see this little orange dot there. And what that does is if I rotate it, it rotates, you can see like the dotted line there. It rotates from that section. I don't like that. So I'm going to rotate it from the center. So if you right click, set origin, and set it to geometry, it'll put it in the center here. And you can see now it rotates from the center. So I do that so I can make them bigger. So we'll make a bigger building here. And we'll make it more flush to what it's a regular street. So this building's kind of huge. Maybe too huge. Let's make it smaller. But, you know, add some variation here. Maybe we'll make this a longer building too. So we'll go into face mode. I just grab it on the X. Maybe the building goes off to the side and that building's there. And that's how we block it in. Yeah, Sam, I did 2 arrays and then I applied the arrays. So then they're no longer arrays. Okay, cool. So we got this scene. I don't like this little white part at the top here. So I'm either going to give it more space. We could probably give it more space, but then also make this building a lot smaller. There we go. I don't know. I just don't want the biggest building to be like right there immediately. There we go. Cool. So we got that building. For this building, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a cylinder shape. No, let's make this one a cylinder shape. So there's 2 ways I'm going to experiment to do this. So the first one is to bevel the edges. So I'm going to go to edge mode by pressing 2. We're going to select the edges here. Right. Got 12 minutes. May have to do a second section of oh shoot. Anyway, do Shift B, or is it Control B? There it is. So if you do Control B, you bevel the edges, and that gives it a bit more of an interesting shape. And you can't even see it in this image here. Let me zoom up on it. You can barely see it, but it looks a little better. So I'm gonna just stretch it out sideways, make it look like a long building like this. And then maybe, not liking it. Maybe I can extrude it a little bit like that. And maybe I can bring it kind of tucked in. Okay, great. So we're making this scene a little bit more interesting. Let's make the top, let's make it a bigger building. So it's a large banking building maybe. Okay, cool. We got that going for us. And, you know, actually, let's bevel the corner of these edges. Let's see if that makes it look interesting. We'll select all the sides. Little recessed in. And all I'm doing, I'm just eyeballing this, guys. Like, I'm just making what I think looks good. Like, you guys know what looks good. We're already seeing my shapes looking a lot better here. And I know that at the top here, it's gonna be mostly obscured. So these buildings just kind of have to look a little different. So one more shape I'm gonna do is I'll leave this one in the middle. And I'll change this one to a cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit mode. And I'll show you a little trick here. Let me get rid of the floor for a second. So if you go to edit mode, go to face mode by pressing 3. Click the bottom here, which is on the floor. I'm going to do Control S and move cursor to selected. That puts the cursor right there. And I want that there because I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to hit Shift A, and I'm going to put a cylinder there. And then it should put it right there. So let's put the cylinder there. Boom. Cylinder is where I want it to be. I'm going to grab it, move it up. And then I'm going to move its origin to the 3D cursor. It's at the bottom now. Now when I go to edit mode, it should scale. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. So when I'm scaling it, I'm trying to make it bigger. See how it stretches out from the middle? I want it to do it from the cursor. So I hit the period key on the keyboard, and then go to 3D cursor. Now it should just grow from the bottom. So this is kind of good. You can see it. I'm looking at on the left side here. Oh, shoot. There it is. And then I'm going to hit Control S, and that makes it thicker. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit S to scale it, but I'm going to hit Shift Z. So I'm basically saying scale it on every way except Z. So Shift Z. Good. So we're hitting Shift Z here. Obviously, this is sticking out in the road. So let's move it a little back. Great. Let's bring back our floor. Great. So our buildings are looking a little bit more interesting. And I'm realizing now that... Let's see. I'm realizing now that I have 8 minutes. So instead of doing each and every one of these one by one, let's save some time. And I'm going to lock our plane, which... Oops. Let me lock the plane here. You can't see the lock, oh man. There we go. Okay, so if you go here to filters, you put these buttons back on so you can see those buttons. And I'm going to select the plane, but I'm going to call it like the road or whatever. Road. It changed its colors for some reason. This must be fun. And I hit this button here, and now I can't select it anymore. And I do that so I don't mess up what I'm about to do. So here we go. Let's select all the ones, all these extra ones. We don't have time for this, right? I got the ones that I wanted. We'll delete them. And then we're going to select these. And I'm just going to duplicate them and move them on the Y-axis. There we go. And then I'll duplicate them again and move them on the Y-axis. Great. Obviously, you can see some repetition here. Oop, there it is. Here it is. So obviously, you can see some repetition there. Obviously, it does not look good. So let's make them incrementally go up. So we'll move this one down like this. Actually, let's make this one real short. So maybe this one goes like right here. So it's like a little short baby building. We'll get this one. We'll make it shorter as well. Like this. And then we'll keep that last one tall. So now we got our buildings. These buildings are looking much more varied. And I think I want to make, for looking on the left side here, this orange one, I want to make it a little bit more varied as well. Because right now it just looks kind of dull. So let's move it. Let's go. To make it varied, I'm just going to select the top. I'm going to hit I. And then I'm going to extrude it. You know what? Thinking about it, I could probably do this to all of them. So let's do all of them. So we'll do the top, hit I, extrude a little bit, give a little building there. Boom. Oh man, it adds so much already. I, E. There we go. Looking better. For this tall one, or this weird looking one, I'm going to actually lower it. It's already a weird shape. But I'm going to hit I and then make it taller. So it's like kind of like a stepped thing. Maybe even one more. That'd be cool. There we go. So now we got our buildings going. Looking nice. Looking good. And what I'm going to do is... I had 2 arrays and I duplicated them. But I, once again, don't have any time. 5 minutes, and I'd like to go into my drawing. I may have to do one more of these 30 minutes, but it'll be fine. Okay, so let's save some time. Let's erase these. I'm gonna go to the edit mode here, or the select mode, but I'm gonna use lasso. So with lasso, I'm just gonna draw out all the ones I want. Those guys. Delete. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm now gonna select these guys. I'm gonna hit Shift D to duplicate it, but obviously I don't want them to look the same like this. So I'm going to rotate them on the Z and put 180. So that flips them around entirely. Now I got some varied buildings here. And I'm just eyeballing this from my scene on the left side here. Looks like it's pretty centered. I got a big old building in my way. Maybe this one shouldn't be here. Maybe it should be smaller. Put that one there. Okay, cool. So our scene, our little city scene is looking better. Oh man, there's a lot of empty space on this right side. So let's select them again. Let's use this box tool this time. Let's see if that helps. And let's move them a little bit to the left. Or should I put them closer? Let's put them closer. See if that helps. It does help. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's look at our reference again. We got 3 minutes before our break. Bird, how's it going? Good to see you. Alright, so I've seen we got our buildings on the left, the buildings on the right. We got thing here. There's some empty space over here. Looks like an IHOP or a Staples or something. Okay, cool. So our scene's being built out pretty decently already. This circular building, oops, can move a little closer. There we go. And maybe this building here can have a 2-tiered system. So let's hit I, E, and then make it a little taller, just to eat up this space here. Kind of don't like that empty space. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got a 2-tiered system there. This will probably be like a road or something. And then I'm going to select all my buildings and see if I can center them a little better. So all buildings selected. And we will center them a little better. There we go. So these are centered a bit better. There's still this empty space on the right side of these buildings I don't like. So let me choose those. There we go. So that's good. Anyway, this, it's all tentative. All right, so we got our buildings going. And I think I'm set with the buildings. I don't think I need any more buildings. There's going to be a center thing and we'll just keep going. So let's look at our reference again. Continue to build out the blocking. That's all I'm doing. I'm just blocking things out. So we're going to have our dude in the middle and maybe 2 dudes there, maybe cars. Looks like there's a motorcycle over here. There's 2 cars. So we're going to set this up pretty crudely for the cars and stuff like that. So let me center my, ooh, Jesus. Oh my God. Let me put a cube here. And let's zoom in on this cube. Let's bring the cube up. Let's flatten it out. Let's try to make it car shaped. And by car shaped, I just mean the dimensions. It doesn't have to be like, how long is a car? Like how big is a car? It's like 12 feet. Right? Is that 4 meters? Let's see how big this car is right now, or this box. So the length of it on the y-axis is 1 meter. Oh man, that doesn't make any sense. Oh no, it's down here. It's already 2 meters. So if it was 4 meters, it would be here. It seems like a long car. Am I doing something wrong? Feels like I'm doing something wrong. Maybe the scale doesn't matter. We'll deal with it in the drawing phase. So maybe I'm cursing myself. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna eyeball it. Oh, all right. So we're gonna go into break. I'm gonna chat with you guys for a second. All right, guys. This is my break mode stuff. So let me just read through the chat here. Ferd, it's good to see you. It's good to be here. And Sam says you can add a human and then you can put a car next to it so you can compare the size. And that is what I'm gonna do after this break. 4 meters is too long, right, Ferd? How long is a car? It's like 3 meters, right? It's 3 meters. That's like 9 feet, like a normal size car. Like I could Google this, obviously, but it's more fun to talk to you guys. It's a super long family station wagon. Yeah, for anybody in the chat right now, we're on break on chat. I'm actually gonna stand up and stretch, and then I'll explain what I'm doing, so then you guys can know what's happening. All 8 of you out there in the chat. Oh man. It's very important to stretch, guys. I've been doing these live streams for a while, and I've been destroying my neck and destroying my back. All right, so for anybody in the chat who's silently sitting there wondering what I'm doing, all I'm doing here is I'm using this reference, and I'm trying to get a feeling of being captured or trapped. That's why I have the mood up here, if you guys can see in the stream. Mood, captured, trapped, or whatever. And I'm using the scene from mostly colon. If it's a drawn hang, could it be called a drang? Third one, yes. I upgraded all my stream animations and stuff. I'm like trying to be professional here. Okay, cool. So I'm just doing the scene from Tron Legacy. I'm not doing the scene. I'm just using it as an inspiration. And I'm setting up the buildings, and you can see on the left side, I think I have the buildings mostly set up. And then I'm gonna start adding in the characters. I have some PNG cutouts of people that I use. Let's see if I can pull that out. Mr. Okay. So what I'm gonna be doing, I use this website called Mr. Cutout. And they basically have cutouts of people, and I'm only going to be using this as a reference, right? So I'm going to after this break, I'm going to put the people in. Well, I'm going to figure out the car situation first and how long they are, and then I'm going to put the people in, and then we'll compare sizing, and what else do I have to set up? So the buildings, the scene, the cars, maybe some like streetlight stuff. But then everything else I'm going to start doing in grease pencil and seeing if I can create it in like my own style type of situation. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing, guys. If you guys have any questions in the chat, like of what I was just doing, or if I said something too quickly, now is the time to ask in the chat so I can go over it. Because once I'm starting in the concept mode and drawing mode, I want to, like, since I only give myself 30 minutes, I want to like go as fast as I can, but like, you know, to keep up with you guys. But please, if you guys have any questions, ask away, or just tell me how you're feeling today. How is your feelings? You know. Oh man, got these nice little glasses going on. Maybe every break I should change the color of my glasses. That would be a fun thing. You know what? And while I'm here, I got contacts on. What have you planned for lighting? You know, good question, Sam. I think I totally forgot about lighting. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go through the car stuff, the people stuff, for 15 minutes, and then for the rest of the other 15, I'm gonna set up the lightings, and then I'm gonna go into the draw phase. Maybe I could do it faster, but for the lighting, I'm gonna see if I can do a dark scene. A night, kind of like this reference here, and seeing if I can do something like that. It'll be one of the first times I'm doing like a dark type of scene like this, so it could be challenging. It could turn out ugly. It could turn out great. and stuff, but I'm gonna use some shaders in here, and you'll see me make them really quickly. They're very simple shaders, and I'm gonna use lights within Blender. So like, you know. Also, there's 5 minutes left. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like anybody has too many questions. So I may jump in early just so I can. Anyway, these time limits they're a suggestion, you know, they're guidelines. But I'm gonna put some solution in my eye for my contacts, and then if nobody has any more questions, I'm just gonna get straight back to the concepting. 1 second, guys. You guys are gonna watch me do this. This is like some real wholesome, some real stuff here. Oh, oh. All right. The world just looks better in tinted glasses, guys. Okay. All right, so let's go back a little early from our break. Back into the concepting mode. So we're going to figure out the cars. We're going to figure out the peoples. I'll probably do people first. So we'll do the peoples. And then the cars. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just blocking out. And then we're going to go and do some quick lighting, which involves some shaders. And I think I could do that all in 30 minutes. So here we go. We're going to get some fancy transition here, Ferd. Worked real hard on these. Let me do it. Let me do it now. Let's see if the transition's here. Yes. Look at that transition. It's beautiful. 30 minutes. Here we go, guys. Okay, so let's figure out the people first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import an image, and I'm going to do it with an add-on. So let me turn on that add-on. File or edit, preferences, add-ons, type in images. Oops, images. And it says import export images as planes. So here we go. And I already downloaded some peoples, and they're just for reference. I don't think I'm gonna use them on the final render here. So images as planes. I'm gonna put shadeless. And I'm going to go to where I saved them. People. Here's some just random people that I put. So we will put somebody just standing around. So we'll just put this person here. It doesn't show up in my solid view, so we'll have to put them. You have to use this mode for a second. At least you can see it on the left side here. So this is about as tall, I guess, as I'm making a person. Put it at the feet level. Okay, great. So now this person's standing over here, right, in our scene. You look at our scene here. They are pretty small. Let's see how big they are compared to these buildings. Oh my god, they're like, these buildings are giant buildings. But I think this is good, because let's see how, if every floor is like your height, we'll put a modifier, an array, and we'll put it going upwards. Here we go. So this building is, let's see how tall this building is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is probably like 8 stories. So I think that's a pretty solid height, right? We're not gonna go like super giant or whatever. So okay, cool. So I think that's a good size for our person. But if we're gonna imitate the scene here, if he's like right up to the camera, you can only see his head. So let's bring this camera lower. There we go. So the camera's like And as we saw in our reference, right? Our camera is about at his knee level, because that's where the horizon is. That's where the eye level is. So let's see if we're right on this. Let's look at it from the right side. Yeah, it's about at his knee. Maybe a little by his ankle, actually. Let's see, actually. There. Yeah, no, that's perfect. This dot here is where the camera is, and it's about at his knee. So I think this is exactly the camera angle that I'm looking for. So we'll put our little dude. We'll put him over here, because that's kind of like what we're doing. He's standing over here somewhere. Bam. Okay, now we can build out those cars. And by cars, I just mean blocks. And then we're going to draw them in afterwards. That's going to be the fun part. So let's put in a car. But also, let me do some quick organization over here. So we're going to erase these strokes. We'll call this a road. This will be called our reference. And this guy is called our person, but we'll move him into a collections of people just so we can have them all separately. Okay, so we got our people. Our cylinders are going to go into our buildings. And now we have no more building left and right. They're all mixed. So we're going to call this collections buildings. So now we got our buildings that are here. We got our road. I'm going to just type this other. Our reference will live outside of these collections. And we're going to call this folder utility, because that's where we'll put our lights and our cameras and all our stuff. And it's really good to separate it, because once you start getting all this stuff, it gets pretty intense. Okay, so now let's put our block. Boom, boom, boom. And anybody in the chat, all 8 of you in there, how long is the car? Tell me how long a car is. I'm going to eyeball it. I know I shouldn't. This is how I live my life. I know I have Google and all of the world in my fingertips, but I don't know. I'd prefer you guys to talk to me. So this is about, when I'm standing next to a car, it's not like the car's taller than me. It's like about shoulder level, right? So this car, if I put it right on the ground, there we go. This is probably the size of a sports car, so maybe up to your shoulder, right? Like a car goes up to your shoulder, right? So we got our person there. It's a pretty wide car, so let's make it actually less wide, right? Because if he was sitting down, like he'll be sitting here, and let's just duplicate him just to see what this looks like. 2 people sitting here, that looks about right. Maybe a little smaller. All right, and then we'll lift it up so we know where the tires are at. Let's make it a tank, Sam said. That would make it easier. Just make it a giant tank. Okay, so this is the size I think a car is probably. These 2 people lengths across. When you're standing upright, it goes up to your shoulder, maybe your armpits or something. 4.2 meters long. Let's see if this block, that's what Susan says, 4.2 meters long. So let's see. Man, this doesn't make sense though. Because technically this block is 2 meters long. So does that mean that... Oh wait, okay, this is what's wrong here. Our person is not the right size. Our person is 1 meter tall. And he needs to be... average height. What is an average height in meters? Hold on. I'll look this one up. In the US, the average male is 1.77 meters tall. Okay, so let's do that. So the way I'm going to do that is I select my little guy. This is just for reference. I will go into the edit mode. I'll go to line mode. I'll select his feet down here. You can't see it, but I selected his feet. Shift S, cursor to selected. And then I'm going to move the origin there. So let's move the origin to 3D's cursor. Now when I scale up, I'm just going to be looking at this number here, the Y. It's at 1 meter right now. So let's scale this up to 1.77 meters tall. That's the average height of a U.S. American. And Ferd confirmed it for me, 1.7. Thank you. So this is really the height that he should be. So now this car will make more sense when I make it 4.2 meters long. So 4.2. I'm just looking at the dimensions down there, guys. There it is. I mean, this feels like a long car still, but this is making more sense. Okay, so let's make it flatter and move it to on the X. Okay. Feels like a long car. He's the right height, right? 1.7 meters. Yep. This is 4.2 meters. We'll do a smaller car. We'll do 3.2. This is looking more like a nice compact car. And I think we got the scaling right. And see, sometimes you just got to get the scaling right first before everything messes up. So we got 5 minutes before I want to start doing lighting. So now that our guy's the right height, I'm going to see how tall these buildings are. Just real quick. I'm just curious. An array, 0, 1. Put it up. So this is just a 5-story building. About. So then the rest of these buildings. This is 10-story building. So our tallest building is probably at the back. And it's like 20 stories. So I guess that's fine. Alright, great. So let's move our dude back. Okay, he's the right height, 1.7 meters. We got our car. All right, so let's put some cars in some areas that make sense. We're gonna make our person invisible. We're gonna figure out. We're gonna move this into a different collection. So hit M, new collection, cars. Boom. So he's up here in its own little folder. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab and then move these cars around where I think they make sense. So we got a car there. And all I'm going to do is Shift Z and move them and rotate them and make them look like, I don't know, they're scattered around. So we got Shift Z, rotate them. Maybe put a car up here. I mean, I'm just making myself having to draw a car now. Since this, from our reference, the cops are like at him. If we turn him back on. You know, that's where the car is. Okay, we'll do another one. Shift Z. Grab, Shift Z. Ooh, my God. What's happening here? Grab, Shift Z. Okay. We'll rotate this like another car is at him. Right? You can't even see this car, so I'm just going to delete him. So we got 2 cars that are going to be here. And then maybe we could fit one more car back here somewhere. But it could be facing like the correct way. And then let's look at our scene here. And then maybe we could put a motorcycle. This is just real tentative, guys. So obviously a motorcycle is a lot smaller. We'll put it here in the corner. And we'll make it smaller. And now I'm just eyeballing it. So we'll have this car here. Or maybe this is like cluttering the scene. This may not be good. Okay, cool. So we got our cars. We got our person, right? The correct height that he's supposed to be. Our scene is looking pretty cool. Maybe he should be a little further down. So he's a little smaller on screen. There we go. We got the cars that are facing at him. Let's look at our reference one more time before we go to lighting. Make sure we got the elements that I want. So we got our cars that are pointed at him. I thought about the motorcycle. I don't know about that. Um, and we'll have our cops there. If I'm looking at the scene correctly, about halfway through the scene is right here. So that guy, that floating thing is up here somewhere. So let's do that. Let's add our floating guy and then we'll start moving the lighting. So, oopsies. Oh, sweet, 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 sweet joy. Okay, so we can go back to this mode because I like this mode because I could see it better. And we're going to make just a general shape up in the sky, and we're gonna put this in the right perspective. And here it is. So here's our car that's floating above. That's gonna be capturing him or her. We haven't decided. And it's gonna be facing down, right, like this. There we go. So that's like the helicopter that's gonna be there. Maybe we'll make it a little bigger, a little bit more imposing. And then we're gonna give it some actual shape. So we'll go into edit mode and we'll bevel out the edges here. There we go. Maybe we'll do hit I inset, and then we'll do Alt E and extrude faces, and then oop, that's not the way I wanted. Alt E, extrude faces along normals, and that'll push out the thing. So this kind of looks, I don't know. I'm just trying to give this more of an interesting shape for later for me. Maybe I'll select the face in the front, extrude, and then extrude again. Maybe make it smaller so it kind of looks like these things can be lights, right? So let's get these and maybe extrude them inwards. There we go. So now we got our scene coming up, looking halfway decent of what I want to create, what I want to do and stuff. Okay. So we got 15 minutes now. Let's see if we can now work through some lighting. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go into this mode and we're going to start tossing in some lights and see what comes of it. So let me go back to let me put this in this mode just so it looks interesting on the left side. You'll see it on the right side what I'm doing. So we'll go to our utilities. We'll have it highlighted because that's where we're going to put our lights. So they're all in one place. We'll hit lights. And then we will hit point light. And then we will go to the world settings and we'll make it dark for now. So you can't see anything. And see what we could do here. Let's make the radius bigger and put this at like some ridiculous number, right? Like 20,000. Well, 20, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So we got our scene going. Now we can put this on. It'll start looking more interesting. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we got our light blooming. We shouldn't pick colors right now. We're just gonna light it. So we're gonna keep it white. And I put the radius up way big so it's softer, but if you do it like really small, it's like really sharp light. I would always opt for making it smaller here. So we got this light here, and since he's gonna be illuminated, he or she, we'll see if we can put it in a place that makes sense, like this. Like the light's like right in front of the person, right? So there's the person. All right, let's do a quick render. So this is what the scene's kind of looking like, with the buildings in the back floating through. We got some lighting. I don't know what's happening here with these blocks with this lighting here, but I don't know, something's happening. If you guys can figure out what is happening there. Is it the shadowing? Oh, it is the shadow. It's like trying to be good. Cool. And then for this, I'm gonna hit save. I forgot to save. So Control S always. And we got the light that's appearing right in front. Maybe we'll make it blue so we can tell the difference. And we'll put it we'll put like ship light. Great. So we got our ship light going. We'll make it a little blue. Just a little blue. Not a lot of blue. Alright, and then we're gonna get the same light and we're gonna hit Shift D, duplicate it, and we'll move it down the road. We'll bring it up higher. Maybe we'll make it less strong, so put 10,000 watts, which is a lot of watts, guys. Watch your electricity bill. And then we'll change the color just so we can have some different coloring back here. All right, cool. So we got our buildings going. You see how this starts shaping up to how we... something like a little bit more interesting. So we got the light there, and we'll just call this City Light 1. City Light .000. Cool, and then we'll hit Shift D. We'll duplicate it. It'll see Shift .001, and we'll bring it down further. And for me, this is just... I could change the color, so I'm going to change the color again. You don't have to do this. I'm doing it so I can separate the scene here. Shift D again. We'll bring it down. This is a long path here. And I think we'll make this the weakest. We'll make it like 5,000. And then we'll make it back to being pink. Let's see how much building we have left. Oh, that's about the end of the building. Cool. So we got our buildings going. Maybe this light here, this really bright one, could be 10,000 instead. Maybe that's like way too strong. Cool. So what do you have? 10 minutes left. So we got our lighting, I think, about where I want it for this. Now I'm going to set up some materials and see if I have time to do that. So let me get rid of this window. And then put this window up. We're going to change this into... Oh, I screwed that up. No. No. We're going to go back into this window. Go here. Go home. Take this off. Put it to render. Take this header away. Then, because I already did it, I think. There it is. So we got our shader here. So we got our scene going, and we're going to add a material, a cartoon material, to the 3D objects, so that when I'm working in grease pencil, I don't know, it like meshes together better. So good. Okay, here we go. So let's make a building material, and we're going to make it once and then duplicate it on everything. So the first thing is we'll do it on this building. On the left here, we'll go to materials, and we'll call this building material. We'll hit new, building material. Building material. Great. And to make a simple toon shader, guys, I don't want to lose you guys. You know, I don't want to lose you. This is very simple. We're just going to use the principle BDF, BSDF, which is like bi-directional something. Anyway, we'll hit Shift A, and all we're going to do is do a converter one. Let's see. Shader to RGB. So we'll do a shader to RGB. And what that's doing is that it's taking this shader, the green, and just changing it into a color. And now we can then choose the color that we want by going Shift A and using a color ramp. And let's see. And now you can see that the left one here, let's see, I'll put it to focus. You see this left one is now affected by this shader. We can choose whatever color we want now. So we make it blue. And the dark, you can make the dark, instead of it being black, you can actually make it a ridiculous color. You can make it like a pink color. And you can start adding some stylizations and gradients with the lights in the scene when you draw over them to make them kind of look cool. So this is it. This is the shader, building material. And yeah, so we're not gonna pick the colors right now. I just wanted to set up the shader. We have 6 minutes, so we'll probably be doing it in the drawing phase as we're drawing through picking our colors. So let's just pick some simple colors. So for the darks, let's do like a pink cyan, because like I'm a sucker for those colors. We'll do these type of colors. You know, we can, and then if you really want to make it a toon shader, you don't want that gradient, you could just change this from linear to constant. You can't tell what's happening, but there it is. So then you got the shader, and it's affected by the light. So when we move this light here, you can see it. It's actually affected by the light, and it's a very simple toon shader. But right now we're gonna keep it on to linear, and we'll do gradients for right now, and then we'll figure out the later, because I want to apply this shader to all of them. So I'm gonna use 2 of these shaders, so we have 2 different colors going on. So then we'll choose this building here on the right. We will select the building material, but this time I'm going to select this little button here, new material, and that duplicates this material. So now when I change it, it won't affect the other one. Simple as that. So we'll make this like a... Actually, we'll just flip the colors for right now. Nope, that's a dumb idea. We'll flip them back. And we'll make them maybe like a darker blue. And maybe this could be a pink color. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe orange. We'll be choosing colors afterwards, guys. Does not matter. This is mostly for just setting up these materials. So for these materials, so I'm gonna select this building. Let me go back into this mode and set my camera back up so you can see what I'm doing. Go back to solid mode. And I'm just gonna select the materials one by one. So material. And then we'll change this to material, building material 1. We'll change this to building material. Also, we're going to rename this. Let's rename it to .000. And then there's .001. Okay, so we're just going to select these. 001. 00. 001. I'm just alternating the colors, and this is just to have material on them. It's not like I want these colors. I think I messed that one up, but we'll just keep going. Blue, and just select one by one. Select these colors, keeping it simple. I already don't like the colors for the second material. We're obviously going to change those. .001. A little bit of a tedious part here, guys. But I appreciate you guys watching. Take this opportunity to give my thanks. And we're just changing the materials for all of them. Just using 2. I don't want to overly complicate this for me. Especially for this stream. Maybe if I was doing it on my own, I would complicate it. But this is mostly for me. We're going to use the grease pencil to change stuff anyway. For these cars, we'll change them too. We'll change the left one to the opposite of the building behind it. So that one. For this one, we will change it to blue. Same thing with this one. We'll change it to the red. Nah, maybe the blue. And then for this car in the back, maybe the red. Okay, cool. So now we see our scene. You can see here on the top left, it has all the different shaders. Obviously, I don't like this shader, so when I change the shader, I could change the whole tone of the look of the scene very quickly with these alternating shaders. So that's pretty cool. So let's just fiddle around with some colors that I may like. Maybe something like this. We'll switch to another building so we can change the color, and then we'll change the color of the blue ones. See, I can add some real good tones on here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this color. So I'll hit, if you hover over the color, you can always hit Control C and it'll copy it. And then I'm gonna make this blue this color. So it kind of matches that. And then for this color, now I'll just keep it a different color here. There we go. This is looking more harmonious. And this is just me playing with colors. We'll do a quick render just to see what it looks like rendered out. So we're building on our scene pretty well. If I do say so myself. And then we got our menacing thing up here. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna select our dude flying up in the sky. We'll select the building material, but we'll select the little icon. So he has his own material. So this is called like ship. And then we'll make him like, I don't know, a cooler color. Or like cool, like awesome cool, not like cool blue. Maybe he's red. Maybe he's more like an orangey red. Maybe he sticks out a little bit more than the average Joe. And let's see what this looks like with the constant, like a real toon shader. It's kind of cool looking. Cool. We will not do that. Let's go linear. How much time we got left? 15 seconds. Okay, guys. So let's take a break. And then I'm going to get into grease pencil finally. So it took me about an hour to get into doing the concept thing and drawing out the thing. And then we're going to start drawing and see what comes of it. I'm sorry if that's too loud. I wonder how loud that is. Let me know if that's too loud. Okay, going into a break mode. Fancy transition. Yes. I love my transitions. Okay, so we are now in a break mode. It's about 10 minutes. We just did 2 concepting setup modes where we set up the materials. We set up the how big the person is. We set up where maybe the cars would be, sci-fi cars. We set up where the ship is taking over him. And for anybody who just joined in, any of you 11, what I'm doing here is I'm going to go, and this is scene from Tron Legacy. So the mood I'm going for is trapped or captured. And it's this scene right here where he's being captured by a helicopter after he hacked a building. We set up the buildings, the lights, and all the stuff. And that's everything. And then I have some other like references for buildings and maybe a character potentially if I get to it on this stream, and some different scenes from Bangkok, Tokyo, and I think Japan. Pretty sure Japan. And yeah, and this is what we're going towards, and we're going to be using the grease pencil then to start affecting this a lot more. Let's read the chat. Blah blah blah. Cool shader. Thank you, Susan. It is a very simple shader, and I like it a lot. I like the simple. YS Books. Hi, I've been away for a while. Well, welcome back. I hope your away was nice. Susan, not loud. Thank you, Sam. Did you create the transition in grease pencil? For the transitions, no, I made them in After Effects. I wanted to have them by today, so I used After Effects to create the transition. But eventually, as I keep doing this, I would like to make everything in grease pencil and make every single transition, every single thing in grease pencils. The drawings and stuff in the transitions, I did them in grease pencil. Susan says professional. Thank you so much. And Samuel says it's really cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, so you know, when you're making a scene and you're making stuff or whatever, it's always good to, and you know, I do this all, I didn't do this for a long time, is blocking out everything, making sure everything's in the right place. And since Blender's a 3D software, you can it's essentially like cheating. It's not cheating, but you can set up the camera, the lens, you can set up everything, right? So let me see if I can explore this while I talk. You can set up everything to look the way that you want it in the 3D space, right? and then start drawing, and then you have a lot of the solutions figured out. A lot of the issues are already figured out. So I already figured out how tall this guy has to be, where the light is, this like thing up here, what's happening, uh the scene that I'm going for. Always use reference. Just using the shade so I remember. Yes. Shader is great. So yeah, so we set up the camera. If you go to the camera settings, you can always set the type of camera you want. You can see here on the right side. You can see on the right side, you can choose the type of camera you want. If you wanted to emulate a Red Epic or a Sony or an iPhone S, you can select that and it'll set the sensor and the settings to be like that camera. Then you just set the focal length, which we can play around with this as we continue. And then for the viewport display, you can always set up, let's see if I can show you here. You can set up all your different separations, so you can have, your thirds. It's really hard to see. I wonder if I should change it for you to see it. There you go. So you could add the cutting up into the rules of third, cutting up halfway. Using this is really helpful to set up your compositions, and I really suggest you using a specific camera setting, like going to your cameras and choosing a specific camera, playing around with your lens, and setting up your composition guides. Very useful, guys. Super useful. Another thing is that I did just now, guys, for anybody just joining in, I made a toon shader, and the toon shader is very simple. All I'm doing is using a principal shader. I do shader to RGB, which is under convert, shader to RGB, and then I use a color ramp. And what this does is that it takes the information from this shader, which is, has all these settings, metallic, all that stuff, changes it into a color. So that's that yellow color here. We're feeding that color into a color ramp, and what this is, it reassigns all the colors. And that's how, if you can see on the top left here, you can see that I can fiddle around with those colors. I can change them. I can have a lot of control over the scene. And then you put it into surface. And all this is affected by the lights. So if you look at these lights here and you look at the buildings, you see that they are affected by the lighting. You see? And it's very useful. And then another thing you can do with the shader is change it to, instead of linear, if you don't want those gradients, to constant. And then you can have a real toon shader where, let's see if I can show you guys. You can add in another color, right? You could do 3 colors. Let's put it over here. And you can see I can start separating. Let's see if you can actually see it. There it is. So you can see that this toon shader has 3 colors now. So when the light moves, let's see. It has like 3 colors that you can use. Obviously, I choose some crazy colors just for you to see it. But, you would do something where, it actually makes sense. And I think that's what I'm going to switch to when we're starting to grease pencil. But we'll see what happens. So I think that's what I've done so far. If you guys have any questions, Marcellum, yep, it's really useful to see the you focus on the final composition all the way. Great. Yes, I've been unfocused for a long time on this stream, so I'm glad that I'm taking the time to focus up. I have 3 minutes for this break chat, so 1 second. I'm gonna put some eye drops for my contacts. But if you guys have any questions, please ask. Now's the time to ask. Oh man, so good. Ugh. All right. It's funny, I have like these tinted glasses, so everything's a little pink. So hopefully these colors look great, right? These colors aren't final. We're going to be fixing them. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm out here in California. It's a little cold. It's a little overcast. I'm actually really enjoying it. I prefer the overcast skies. I guess I moved to the wrong state. Sipping on my coffee, feeling good. I see 11 of you guys are watching, so I really appreciate you guys being here. If you like this, I do this every Saturday, 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. Like, subscribe, please. It really helps me out. And I'm really happy you guys are here. This is the first stream where I upgraded all my transitions, all my artwork, and all my stuff. I really want to make this a professional and helpful thing. There's not a lot of grease pencil tutorials out there, but I guess there's not somebody out there like a Blender guru or any of those people for grease pencils specifically. So I'm trying to be that person. I'm learning with you guys. I'm not saying I'm a master or professional at this either. I'm learning with you guys. I just teach you guys what I find out along the way. So there's a lot of things that I could maybe even be telling you a little bit wrong, but I will correct myself if I find out a better way, or if you suggest a better way. Marco says, why, yes, coffee. Thanks for the heads up. Yes. Drink the coffee. Get hyped. All right, we got 1 minute left, guys. 1 minute. And then we're going to go to our drawing phase. Marcellum says, I had to an animated character and really regretted not sorting out the camera and shots, so I will do storyboarding next time. Yeah, it's so useful. I've done it for years until just now. I've just refused. I guess I didn't want to, but I refused to look at reference and set up the scene. I'm like, that's the boring part. But man, do you suffer for it at the end. Like, it's good to storyboard. It's good to map out. It's good to have references. It's good to have inspiration. Even colors. I guess what I didn't do here is I didn't choose my color scheme I'm going with. So we'll have fun doing that here. So let's see. We got 4 seconds left. And our timer's going. Do you prefer frame by frame or rigged animations? Let me turn off this audio. Let me answer your question before I go. Mostly Colin, do you prefer frame by frame or rigged animations for Grease Pencil? I want to get to doing frame by frame instead of rigged, because I want to draw better. My goal is to be a better artist as they can draw and concept more than the rigging stuff. But I do eventually want to learn the rigging because I will use it in the future. Okay, so let's go to the drawing with my fancy transition. Yo, isn't that nice? I like it. Yo, hope you like it too. Okay, so oh man, I didn't spend any time during the break. Hold on. Setting up my space. Hold on. Gotta do it real quickly now. Don't want to kill time. Put on the artist glove, guys. Now the power is in me. Keep my keyboard over here on the side. Take another sip of coffee. Okay. Here we go. So I got my tablet out. I have an XP Pen 13.3 Artist Pro. Can't wait to get a bigger one now. I've been doing this for a while now. Okay, so got my pen. Let's set up all our stuff, our technical boring stuff, before we get into anything too complicated here. We're going to keep those colors for now. They're not permanent. They're just to see the difference in stuff. And then we are going to make a new collection, and we're going to call this collection Grease Pencil. Let me move my keyboard here. Grease Pencil. Great. Let's go to our camera mode. And I'm going to take this off and this off. Great. And let's first start with creating a new stroke. So we'll go to add. I'm doing it at the top now. And I'm going to go to Grease Pencil blank. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So first thing I want to do is figure out where this grease pencil is on the scene, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make everything unselectable. So while I'm drawing and doing all this stuff, I can't accidentally select it. So if you go to the top right, go to filters, make sure this button is selected so you can see all these arrows. So I'm gonna make everything unselectable except maybe the lights. So other buildings, people, cars, not grease pencil, and the reference. So now I can't, I'm tapping here. I can't accidentally click on anything. Very important. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to see where my grease pencil is. I have a blank grease pencil object, but I cannot see where it lies. So let's turn this on again, actually. And if you go to this little arrow here under viewport overlays and you put canvas, you can now see that the canvas is right there, which is great. So if I start drawing on it, which kind of sucks because this turns into like this bright screen here. If I start drawing on it, you'll see that it's drawn right on that canvas. You can see it. Can we make this canvas bigger? Does anybody know? Make the canvas visible. And that's fine. Okay. All right, let's go to our layers. Still doing a little setup. I'm going to delete that layer. We can see our canvas. So the first thing I want to start figuring out is, let's figure out if we could do some fun grease pencil stuff on buildings. So what I want to do is I want to be able to draw on this building, and obviously I can, not obviously, but I can go into a draw mode, which turns everything kind of gray. Does anybody know if you can change when I go to draw mode, it can like not turn gray? Like I would like to just continue to see what I want to see. Is that something in my viewport? Let me make sure. Oh, there's the options for the canvas that you were talking about mostly. So let's make this canvas big because I want to see it. Let's make it 10 out of 10. So we got a big old canvas. And we're going to subdivide it a lot more. And I do this so I can make it bigger so I can see it. Thank you for the tip, mostly Colin. There's our canvas, nice and big, right? And you can offset it and move it around, but I'm not going to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this canvas against the building here. And what you could do is in grease pencil, you can go to objects, go to the draw mode, and up here you can change where it like draws on. So it says it here, draw stroke on object origin, or you can draw stroke on a surface. So if I hit surface, I can draw over here, and it's actually on that surface. Is it? Oh man, it's not even on that surface. Interesting. So yeah, that's what I thought it would do if I go to surface. Is the offset? Is that why? What if I put like 0 offset? What if it's like super? So if you change this mode up here while you're in draw mode to surface, you should be able to draw on surfaces, which is what I'm doing over here. I'm drawing on the left side. And yeah, it draws on that surface, which is great and all. But I like to I want to separate my strokes so I don't have everything being drawn in one area. So oh yeah, mostly calling. You got to lower the offset. Make sure to mess around with that offset. So I wanted to do it on the origin. Shoot. Anyway, so let's go to draw mode. Let's get out. I'm going to make a new layer. And I want to draw on the origin. So you'll see that here. And I'm just going to move this stroke. That's what I want to end up doing. I'm going to move this stroke. Because I kind of want control over where I'm drawing. And I kind of want control... Because I get confused pretty easily, guys. So I don't want to just draw on surfaces and they're just everywhere. I'm going to separate the strokes and keep going. Right. And let's move this right up against this building. And let's see if we can start drawing some building in grease pencil. And then you said, okay, mostly Colin says, and I think if you go to the render mode at the top left of the viewport, you can change it so it's not so gray. Let's figure that issue out because I'm hating this. So here. Oh man, it is so gray, guys. All right, we're just gonna keep going, and we're just gonna eyeball it, just so we're not held back here. Oh man, it is so gray. You said it's the top left? It's in draw mode. Is it in view? Viewpoint. Navigation. All right. If anybody can find out for me, please. I would like it so it's not gray like this. Because it is killing me. Oh, I guess it's here. It's in these overlays, right? So it's one of these. Right? Well, for right now, I can turn it off by hitting this overlay. And it goes away. So I'm going to just use that until I figure out what's going on. Okay, I'll just do it in this mode. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera. So we're flat against this. We're flat against the... We're in front orthographic. And I can start drawing the things I want to draw. So let me... take off the extras there. Okay. And then I'm going to start drawing some stuff. So let's get some inspiration here. You said turn off the scene lights. Let me make sure. I don't know. Anyway, let's look at our reference before we start going into this. So all right, so these buildings, when we look at them real close, I mean, they just look like they have some traditional square stuff in there. And for this, I think I want to go a little bit cartoony, not like necessarily this realistic. And this looks like it has the lights very separated. So that's pretty cool. It looks like there's a trimming at the bottom. So it has the first two floors being one thing, and then it goes into the other. part of the building or the rest of the building. So that's pretty cool. Let's look at these little high rise or these downtown Tokyo, I think. Separated by store. So this should be more like, I guess, a store area like this with some openings. Maybe we can make some fake brands and put them on there. That's cool. Let's look at this one. Obviously some fake brands, some head trimmings. It looks like there's quite a bit of space between the head of the person to the top, which is pretty cool. We'll remember that while we're doing it. Another thing is a lot of square signage, a lot of square things kind of blocking out, a lot of writing. These like side panel things that are sticking out, which, you know, show like the store names or the store stuff. So maybe we can add some of those. This is a shot of Bangkok. I just wanted to see some like apartment buildings. But I guess we're not doing apartment buildings. We're doing more of like a downtown Tokyo. But just looking at from the top view here. Yeah, there's just a lot of squares, balconies. You know, and I'm saying this out loud for myself, but this is what you should be doing when you're looking at your reference. Just kind of like making mental notes about what to remember to put in the squares, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I think I got a gist of what or how I should start this. There's like a storefront. It's going to be in the front there. And the building. See, I'm just repeating myself now. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to zoom out of this. And we're going to make this car invisible. So let's make this car invisible by pressing H. And H just makes it so you can't see it anymore. And it's, if you look in the outliner, it's the little eyeball on the right side. You'll see here. See that little eyeball? Click on it. It comes back. But if you click on it and hit H, it just makes it invisible. It's a neat shortcut. Very useful. Cool. So we're going to make that invisible just so I could see a little better on this left side here. And then for reference, I'm going to bring my dude here. So let me select my person. We're going to duplicate him. And I'm putting him here because I want to know how tall I have to make my stuff. So let's make him here. And then I'm going to put it in array. Zero, 1. And obviously, floor buildings aren't like exactly at our head height. So we'll add some length, height to that. So it's about maybe here. And then we'll duplicate it up. And we'll say that that's how tall this building is. Great. So let's go out of this object mode. Just make our building selectable. We can now look at it. And now I kind of have a reference to, you know, how tall or how big I should be making these things. So let's go back to our orthographic mode. Now we'll go back to our sculpture mode. Or not sculpture, our grease pencil. And now we can start figuring out what to draw. So this is very important to do so you can get things right relatively the first time. So, all right. So here we go. I'm going to bring my tool set here. We're going to go to draw mode. I'm going to make sure there's a material. I have no materials here. I want 2 materials. I want my solid fill and I want my solid stroke. And I want these because I'm going to be doing vertex paint, which is this little icon up here. Because then I can select my color palettes that I've chosen out before and then draw on those. So let's see if I can start doing this. And you can see it being drawn right over here. Maybe I'll zoom up here for you for us to see it. Great. For me, it turns out purple here, which is kind of weird. I guess I can like choose. Yeah, this gray thing is, it's really bothering me. Oh, I guess I could do it without this, right? Great. Cool. So I can now draw on this building. Let's erase. Oops. Let's go to our eraser mode. Go to stroke. Let's erase these strokes. And I can draw these buildings. Okay, great. I'm in orthographic view, so I'm looking at it straight on, so it'll be easier to draw this stuff. So let's do some fancy stuff here. So I could use the tool here, like this line tool, figure out where the line is. And we're going to figure out, and I think it's funny that it shows up really weird on the left side, but then it shows up pretty good there. So there's our line. And it's a little long, but it's right outside the building. It doesn't matter for me right now, because I'll fix it later. So let's go back to our orthographic view. And let's start building out some square shapes, and then we'll start drawing on them. So that is about as high as we're going here. Get our squares. All right, so I'm gonna go to solid fill, and I picked this color, so we're just gonna follow the theme of this color, and then move forward. So let's draw our windows. That will be so the window. How tall is the window? When you stand up, I'm gonna stand up for a second. All right, so the window for me in my house starts at like the middle of the waist, right? Well, not the middle of the waist, but like about waist level, and it goes above my head. So I think that's the right height here. So we'll put that there. We will right click, and I'm going to put this into my favorites, so add to quick favorites, because I duplicate things a lot. So duplicate, duplicate. I'm eyeballing this, and I probably shouldn't. So would 3 windows look good, or 2, you know? Probably 4. All right, and then we're gonna duplicate it again. I'm just hitting Q, and Q is where your quick favorites are. So I'm selecting both of these windows, which you can't see. I'm doing this off like feel, man. Click on it. I'm holding Shift. I'm clicking on that. Go into the duplicate. Great stuff. Now I'm selecting all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Duplicating, bringing it up. I want my background to be a little simpler. So we're just gonna do these sets here. Okay, great. My stroke could probably get closer to this wall, so we'll grab it. Or my grease pencil object. So let's bring it right up against the wall. Oops. There we go. And we got our line where that's supposed to be there. And then I'm gonna make a sign, and this sign will be a rectangle. So let's go to object mode. Make everything selectable again. Go to edit mode, grab this face. I'm gonna hit Control S. Not Control S, Shift S. Cursor to selected. And I do that because this is where I want my cube to appear. So we'll hit add, mesh, cube. Great. We will make it thinner. Because it's gonna be one of these signs. And then we're gonna make it taller. We're going to make sure it has a material like the second building material. See what this looks like on the left. All right. Bring it up a little higher, and then we'll bring it up a little closer. And for this, you know what? I think I might go with the solid color stuff. So let's change our color ramp to constant. Let's see what this looks like. All right, cool. So we're already getting kind of like a cool animated look. Not animated, but like stronger look. And we're going to fix these lights later so they make more sense. Oh, shoot. Great. So we have this light here, and we're going to draw over this sign here. And let's see if we can give it some cool looking shape. So maybe we can do something like go to edit mode, select the edges. Control B. Maybe make them rounded edges here. Great. And then maybe we could select these edges and bevel them as well. Control B. I guess that doesn't really matter for that. Okay, cool. So that building, that's looking good. And then I'm going to select this face, the face in the front of the sign. Hit Shift S, cursor to selected. It's going to be right on there. Now we'll get out of edit mode and we will add another grease pencil object and make it a stroke. Add. I'm not a stroke, a blank. A blank. Now we see that our grease pencil object is right on there. So that we're going to start drawing our sign and whatever this sign says. We'll call this grease pencil stroke. No, not grease pencil stroke. I am like all out of whack. We'll call this sign. What do you think this sign should say, guys? Making a new layer. Get a solid fill. Solid stroke. This canvas is a little bright for me, so we'll do that. I'm gonna go into draw mode, which makes it gray. Please, anybody, let me know. And we will choose, since we're following this color scheme here, maybe we can make it this white color. See what we can. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to use the pen, and we'll make it way thicker. I wonder why it looks kind of funny. Let's move this object away from the sign. There it is. Let's use a pen instead. Let's see if that works better. I wish I knew some like Japanese letters. I guess I could copy some Japanese letters, right? All right, so we're gonna choose a darker green here. And since there's no suggestions in the chat on what this should say, I just want some filler words so this starts looking a little nicer as I'm doing it. Let's see, we'll put grease. This place sells grease. Jimon plus Japanese. James A says no tell hotel. Robots. Susan. Yes, I think I think I'm gonna do all of them. We'll start with robots. I like robots. Let's do a different color. We can always change this color later with the tinting, guys. Let me choose this color. All right, looks like I should be taking a break, so we're gonna finish this robot. I do need to stretch. Robot. Oh man, I just gotta finish this last thing. Let me mute this beeping. And I think I'll, for fun, just add a glow. I mean, it doesn't. This is. I know I should be waiting for these details till later, but I don't know. It's just too much fun doing it now. We'll do robots. Okay, we'll do the. We will do our break. All right, guys. I feel like I didn't get a lot of time in doing my drawings. It was all set up for grease pencil, but this now. As we continue forward now, I'm gonna figure out. You know, this is good that I'm taking this break because I was getting a little. I don't know. We're good. I like doing the details first. So we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do here together. Let's figure out what our next steps is for the next 30 minutes when we do our drawings. Uh, uh, Man, thank you guys for joining me today. Not sure if this artwork's gonna be done today, but I think we got some good headway on it, and we will continue it next Saturday. I'm not leaving yet. Still got about an hour and a half or so. So stick with me. But let's go through this scene and figure out what we should focus on next during this break. So seeing this, you know, we're getting our building down. This looks like that was a lot of fun to make. I guess we could make these buildings more with some doorways. They can have some more heading stuff at the top, like heading like what are they called? Not scaffolding, but like the overhangs to make them look more like actual buildings, like if you can go into them. You know, if we look at our reference, where's our reference? So if we look at our reference, oh shoot. Where's our reference? There it is. So if we look at our reference and we look at our buildings, I just gotta draw all these details on this building. Oh my god. Mon world in Catalan. Interesting. I like Gmon. All right. So looking at our reference, it looks like I should be doing some more signage stuff. Probably doing some planes. Doing the buildings. Maybe I could put in, looking at this, maybe I can put the street lights, the street lamps on. Maybe I could start building those out. Maybe I can make some trees. The windows. We're gonna jump around. We're gonna jump around on what we're gonna be doing. So, I think that's what we could be doing, guys. How's everybody doing in the chat? How's everybody feeling? What are you guys up to? I'm still figuring out what we're doing here. Or what should we do next, I should say, not what we're doing. These lights back here, I guess we can make them... See how the light and the left side kind of cuts off? So I guess we can make them much bigger. We made them like 20. Messing around with some lighting here. It's supposed to be a night scene though, so I shouldn't be using a sun. Oh man, looking through. I should be taking a break. Hold on. Feeling the stretch. Trying to light my scene. I'm working on not doing so good. Aw. Yeah, lighting can be quite the hassle. It's a very technical part of the whole process. Oh man. Oh man. Coffee's so good. So yeah, I guess guys, next I'm gonna be doing, since I'm doing this building on the left side and it's turning out fine. And right now I don't want to focus on too many details. I want to focus on getting these bigger shapes out. Ansel, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Nice to see you here, bro. All right, so we're making the scene. We have the 3D elements put in, and I think the lighting is fine for right now. What is happening here on this building? What is this? Is that this light? Oh, I see what's happening. So let me right click here. Shade smooth. Okay, that's a lot better. How much time we got left? We got 3 minutes. 3 minutes to break. Okay, so we could start working on these buildings. We could start working on the character. We could start working on the car or the cart in the back. The cars. I think what this needs though, I think it definitely needs some more overhang stuff and some more fiddly bits just around the pieces of the building, which I think we can start adding. And then we'll start adding on those details, and I can really just draw on top of them. And let's see. We got our character there. And I guess I don't need too much detail at the behind the character or the building and stuff. So that's looking all right. I like the sign. I got a little distracted trying to draw something on the sign. Gotta remember to stay focused on the bigger details and focus on kind of like filling out the medium details at this point. Yeah, so definitely I think what I should be doing the overhangs, adding in some lights and some windows, which I already did, so I'll start duplicating those. I will then maybe draw some headlights and stuff. So let's work on the environment for right now before we even start working on the character or that vehicles or any of the vehicles on the top. So that's looking good. What I'm gonna do is, let's see if I could do this better. Okay, cool. So, okay, gotta draw the overhang, draw some lights, draw some fiddly bits, and some lights. I think that's what we're gonna do. All right, 1 minute. Thank you guys for watching. And so, like I said, what's up? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me on another Saturday. We're just recreating or trying to make a scene, mixing 3D with grease pencil. So that's what we're doing. Got a little sidetracked, but luckily I'm on a 30-minute work, 10-minute break, so I get to like refocus up every time. I'm very, very much squirrel distracted person. So we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this through. I got some fancy animations, Ansel. They look real good. I made them. Make my stream professional. Put a timer up there. Put things. It's good. Real good. Okay, I think time is up. And we're gonna do our fiddly bits for the buildings. Alright, so this time we're gonna go to concept setup, since I'm gonna be doing 3D stuff real quick. But we're not gonna be there the whole 30 minutes. We're gonna go back to drawing about halfway through it. So here we go. Okay, let's do this. And I'm gonna try and speed through this, so if I get a little quiet, Just write something in the chat if you need me to say some stuff. But I'm gonna plow through this. So we got a grease pencil, blah blah blah. We're gonna hide these for right now. AHH, good. We are going to add in the rim that I was talking about. So luckily I already did the line here where it should be. We will go into edit mode, right click, bring it down to where the line is. We did Shift R for like a loop cut. Control B, and we can bring out and bevel out the loop cut. I scroll so I can get rid of those. So that's good. So I made a little line there. That's about as where it should be. If you look at the line, you know, from how tall the person would be, that's about as high as it should go. I will go to hit 3, go to face mode, select the face, and we will extrude the face out. See what this looks like over here on this side. So that's about how far it should go. So we'll keep going like this, and just for an aesthetic reasons, we'll make these edges and bevel them out. We'll get rid of our side panel there and bevel these out and make them actually like a round shape. So that's pretty cool. And then we'll do that for the rest of these buildings. Same thing, right? Control R for a loop cut, bring it down to like eye level, wherever it should be. They're not all going to be perfect. Honestly, maybe I should find out how high. No, I shouldn't. All right, so let's do this by looking at it from the back end here. Nope, never mind. We're just going to do it the way we're doing it. Okay. So bring it down, and we can always move these, so it's definitely fine if we do it. Bring this up, set a loop cut, select the faces up in front, Shift E, move along normals, create that overhang. Let's see what this looks like on the left side here. Can't see it because of this car. We'll make the car invisible. And there's no light over there, so let's bring the light over, duplicate the light, and we'll bring down the light. I just want to see what this looks like, and we'll make the light 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Wasn't it at 10,000 already? Fine. Do it at 10,000. No, we'll lower it this time. It's a little too bright. For this material, honestly, I'm gonna bring it back to linear. I just want to be able to see these materials, and now the light's too bright again. So now 5,000. No, 50,000. 5,000, 2,000, 1,000. Great. So we got the overhang going. So this is already adding the detail that I'm talking about that I think was missing before. Guess I just need more concepting time here. So let's do the same thing for this one. Same thing. Edit mode. Make a loop cut. Eyeball it, because we're not trying to be perfect here. Do a bevel with Control B. Go to face mode by pressing 3. Select the face. Extrude along the normals. There we go. This one's a little too thick, so we're going to make it a little thinner. So we just did a loop cut here. Oh, so I'm going to get rid of this floor because it's like getting in my way. There we go. And then we will make this thinner. Great. So that's looking good on this left side here. So we got, so we got that going. Great. Do we need to do it all the way? Probably not. Maybe one more. Same thing. Going in. Edit. Shift R or Control R. Set the loop cut. Bring it up. Control B. Extrude out the points from the faces. There you go. Control E along normals. Push them out. That looks interesting. What does that look like over here? That looks pretty good. Cool. So I think that's enough. I think it could trail off in detail on that. Let's do this on the right side now. So the right side, the buildings. What do we have? This circular building here. We'll do a loop all the way around. I'm gonna need this as reference, so let's bring it to this side. That's how tall that is. So we will bring this up a little higher. Bevel, Shift E, take it out. This has like this weird artifacting here, and that's because it's on shade smooth, but what you need to do is just change the normals to auto smooth, and that should line it out. You can see the difference here, like this ugly weird tube thing to like a little bit sharper. So that looks good there. So that's detail that's I like. Let's do another one. Sorry, it's a little tedious, and I'm doing it quick, so I'm trying not to be boring here. Control B, Shift E, take it out. It's a little too thick. Let's make it a little thinner. There we go. Around the same level. Let's hide these cars just for now. Or these blocks. They're not cars yet. Let's do the same here for this building that we just copied over. Same deal. This one has a weird loop cut, and it's because I accidentally beveled it the wrong way, but let's see if we can fix it. Yep, I just hit S and 0. Beveled it out. Bevel it out. Extrude it. There we go. Some details there. And I think we could do one more, but we will skip the next one and we'll just do the one after it. Bevel it out. Grab. There we go. So that's added some details there, breaking up the scene, breaking up the shapes in here. So that's looking good. Okay, cool. So let's go back to this mode. And then we're gonna put some antenna stuff on top of these. So we're gonna do simple because we'll just draw them in later. We will go to face mode, select the face, cursor to selected, and we will add some cylinders and just stretch those guys out. Go into edit mode. What is it? Alt S? And then scale. There we go. Move them around. Duplicate it. Scale. There we go. Aren't like ACs at the top too, so we'll also put a block up here to make sense. Make it smaller. Alright, so we're adding some detail up in the front here. I'm just gonna copy these, hitting L to select them. Oh man, no. I'm gonna select the cylinders and give them a material. They'd have no material right now. There we go. And I'm going to duplicate the cylinders and move them into other buildings. Rotate them 180 degrees. Oops. I'm doing this all wrong, guys. Select the antennas, rotate them on the Z. I also duplicate more to make them look like they're doing something. 90. Make them bigger. Scale, look at that. Change these colors to some different colors here. Break up the scene. These are not permanent colors. We'll keep going. What are we at? 10 minutes? All right, so we're going to spend about 5 more minutes doing this. I think we added the detail that I want. This face, I want it to be broken up a bit more, so we will inset it, extrude into it, and maybe extrude again and set it out. So we're giving these kind of like panels. We'll do the same for this building. So let's go to this building, go to edit mode, and let's split this up. Like this, and we'll split it up the other way. Excuse me. And we'll see if we can give this some better texture. And we're breaking up the big shapes. I was focusing on small shapes again. It's better to focus on the bigger shapes, so we'll extrude out. That gives it a little bit more detail there. We'll do the same thing with this middle one. I like it. And then this wall, we can extrude it out. That doesn't look good. Let's extrude it out. No, let's bring this to the bottom and then extrude it out. There it is. So we're adding some detail there. We need some detail on the right side, so let's put some detail on the right side. Same thing. Selecting a face, we will select all of it actually. Right click, break it up to shapes that make more sense. We'll also maybe bevel all of them for very small amounts, and then we will extrude it along the faces and kind of give it like these like little ridge lines or whatever. So that's nice. Keep going. We'll do it to the next one. We will do something like, let's see if we can even see it in the screen. Select the face, and we will extrude this one into itself. Or should it extrude out? Extrude in. I don't know. There we go. Extrude it out. The scene's looking a lot better. Let's add some more detail onto this one. Same thing. Right click, select a bunch. For this one, we'll do some big loops around. So maybe like this one and this one. So I'm holding Alt and selecting the edge, and that selects all of them. There we go. That looks like a tiered building now. So that looks a little bit more interesting. For this giant building, we'll do something along the side here. Like, what if... that looks crazy. Something like this, where it looks like it's trying to be fancy or something. Should it go inwards? Actually, we'll just make it go out a little bit. So let's extrude it out. Looking a bit more interesting. This building still not looking interesting from the scene. Okay. We'll right click. And then we'll select each and every other loop. Maybe we could do something a little interesting here, where we extrude the faces out a little bit. There we go. All right, there's my detail. 15 minutes. Go back into this mode here, select the face. I'm gonna inset it, and then I'm gonna bring it down, so GZ, and then I'm going to extrude it in. Maybe like it's like a doorway or something. Does that look interesting? Just extrude out? No, that doesn't look good. Maybe extrude these out. All right, maybe this looks like a window, like a store window that's like coming into here. So there we got that shape blocked out. All right. And then what else have we got here? We got this cube that I had, and I like the cube, right? These are like the signage that I was getting. It needs to be a different color though. So let's make it, let's make it sign color, right? There it is. So we got the sign color here, and I'm gonna start sprinkling these in different places. So we'll make this one a little smaller, little tag that kind of like sticks out at the bottom here, kind of break up the visual monotony. We'll shift D, we'll bring it to the back. Maybe there should be like a long one down here. It goes up, maybe not over people's heads, but it should be above it. Boom, we got some signage there. I'm going to duplicate both of these and then rotate them on the Z and then do 180. So now we got, oh shoot. And then we got a big one in the front and see where these land. And we're just copying them exactly. And then we will see if these look good at all. I think they kind of look good. So there's a sign there, which is cool. It's kind of blocking that light. This building, I can see that it's not interesting looking here on the left side. So let's make it interesting just by adding a small amount of detail. You can do a lot of work. So Control B and too thick. There we go. And for this one, we'll do something different. We'll cut the building in half vertically. And then try and make this half inset it and then stick it out. Kind of gives it a more interesting shape there. Now this sign's gone, so maybe we can move this sign, make it larger. No, maybe make it smaller and maybe make a bunch of them. So let's move it up forward, bring it up to the top. And we'll do 3. So we'll do an array on the y-axis. Or is it the z? Nope, it is definitely the z. On the z-axis, we'll spread it out a little more. And we'll add 3. And we'll do negative 1.3. Negative 1.3. There we go. So we got some visual interest here. And maybe this sign or this thing sticking out could be a different color. So let's go to the materials. We're going to add another material, and all you have to do is we're going to do sign and we're going to assign it. And then that makes it that color. That could be like a billboard of some sort. So that's looking all right there. And I like that this is breaking up my scene. We'll bring back the floor or the ground. And this is breaking up our scene a lot better. And I feel like maybe the cylinder building can use something as well on the right. But I don't want it to be like too obnoxious. So we will do something where we color, since we're looking at it from the bottom, we'll color the bottom rings. So we'll color the bottom rings. And see if that adds some visual interest. And we'll add another material, like I said, put the sign. And we're going to assign it. So it kind of breaks it up a little bit. You can kind of see it's a different color underneath. So it's not too much. But actually that might work just fine for me. There we go. We'll bring back our cars. Or our blocks or our cars. And we're going to fix our composition again. We're going to look at our composition. Also, this material is way too in our way. We'll get rid of this car. Nope. We'll just make it a little further away. Oh my god, I should be doing it in this window. I don't know. I feel like it's breaking up my scene here. So let's move them. Let's move this car out in front of here. We got 3 cars going. Now I got some dead space at the bottom left that I don't like. So we'll add some foreground elements. And by foreground element is... So let's figure out where this road is. So let's change the mode real quick. We're going to break up. Oops, wrong one. Select the road. And I'm going to cut it right in half. Right in the middle. And I'm going to hit bevel. And I'm going to put it where the street... Where I think the street should be. Right? I might have to fix all these buildings. Buildings aren't looking so good. Or I'll just move the floor. Why move the building? So we'll move the floor. There we go. So we got our floor here, and I'm going to add a different material for this ground floor. I'm only doing it to separate what I'm looking at here. So let's put ship down there. I guess it takes up the whole scene. I can't really, doesn't really make a difference unless I do something like this, because I'm trying to break up the, I don't know, the big shapes at the bottom. So this is looking all right. And we're gonna change these cars material to ships, or signs I should say, just so we can see the breakup here. And this car in the back, I may just delete it. There we go. See about that. Okay. I think that added a bunch, and I think I'm gonna, from looking at the left side here, maybe add some I think this building on the right, this circular building, needs something more. So let's go to it. Nope, wrong window. This building here. You'll see it on the left window that I'm trying to make it more interesting here. There we go. That looks a bit more interesting. We'll do it 3-tier. I think it leads the eye a little bit better towards what I'm trying to do here. Our little dude, we're looking at this correctly. It's not entirely center of the road here, but we'll put him center. But in the camera, he's a little off, which I think actually looks better. So our scene's looking a lot better here. We've got the cars, got our scene going. I think what I want, though, is a light here so I can see this better. And we're going to make it a 10,000. There we go. So we can see that building a whole lot better. We'll make it smooth. Nope. We'll make it normal. Or maybe the camera should be in the middle. Let's move the camera now. There we go. And this doesn't make sense anymore, so we'll move him a little bit further down, menacing down, looking at the character. And we will make him maybe lower. Does that look cool? And what's cool is that moving the camera now is a lot of fun, because then we can get like different shots. You know, we can get like a shot like this where he's like looking up at him. We can get a shot of a wide. We can get something like going down the road. Look how like less detailed these buildings become. But yeah, I think now playing with the camera becomes a little bit more fun for the scene I wanna make here. We'll put him in the center just for now. Look at these guys hanging out here. I forgot these guys are here. Let's take these guys away. And some visual imagery now to break up more. Hold on. This panel here, too much blue. So we're gonna go up and we're gonna change that one color to a cyan color. Ah, there we go. So that's looking good. And this building's kind of killing me. I got 4 minutes, and then we're gonna go straight drawing. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna do the drawing in 3D space. We're just gonna draw over this, and we're gonna see what type of stuff we can make to make look cool and all that stuff. So the next phase, I guess I did. This is the first time me doing this, so like doing it in this structured way, and it looks like I need about 2.5 to 3 concept phases until I get better, because I want it to down to 30 minutes. But I know, can't rush art. So I did about 3 phases. Now I think I could do some drawing phases, and there's different ways to approach this. But I think I am gonna just draw over it, because I want it to be cartoony anyway. So Ansel says, looking pretty awesome so far, bro. Thank you so much. This is just the build and blocking phase. And as long as this looks awesome, then everything else can start looking awesome as well. Cool. There's some dead space on the left. What I have, 3 minutes? Because I'm going to stop working on this concept after this. So we're going to put another car over here somewhere. Let's see if we rotate a car to point at the main character. Yes, actually, this could be pretty cool. So if the car was like over here, blocking this building, maybe it's his car. Oopsies. Maybe it's his car, and we're gonna put cylinders down. Maybe a motorcycle instead. So yeah, we need a couple foreground elements. I'll figure out what to put out in the foreground. Maybe another car? I don't know. Now we're just fiddling around, and this is where people waste time. So I'm not gonna waste too much time here. But maybe like 2 cars pointing at this. Would I have 2 minutes? Let's see if I can add some cylinders here. Cylinders. Rotate on the X. Circle down. This is just so for me to see the tires. I don't know. Those tires like way too small for a car like this big. It looks way too small. And then this one will have a tire as well, which is duplicate the tire. Rotate it on the Z. I don't think it has to be perfect since I'm drawing over it, but I don't know. Maybe it'll ruin. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like the cars in the foreground, but I think something definitely needs to go in the foreground, or else like, I don't know. It's just not gonna be as compelling as I want it to be. Okay, so this is going pretty decently. Jiraj Muka, good to see you. We're about to go onto a break. I have these structured live streams. If you just joined, I got all my live stream pretty structured out. So we're about to go on break. I'll chat about what I'm doing and what I'm gonna do next after the break, which will be drawing. We are drawing now and hanging. I got 9 seconds. I think that's good for the concept thing. Let me save. And I think we're good. All right, so that's break time. So let's go to the break. Jiraj, good to see you. So right now we're in the break phase. It's 10 minutes. I get to stretch. Anybody in the chat, please ask me any questions of anything I've done here. If you guys have anything you want to know, or even if it's a little unrelated, I think these live streams are for like learning purposes, and this for me to get better and to continue making artwork and stuff. It really keeps me accountable. So I do it for you guys. I do it for myself too, but I do it for you guys as well. I learned a lot from free YouTubes. All my whole career I learned from YouTube. So this is just me giving back to the community, sharing the things that I know. I'm not like a super genius or anything, just a normal person who has learned bit by bit. So Jiraj, what I'm working on now is I'm going through all the phases of doing the drawing. So I set up all the concepting and the 3D, because then I'm going to draw over it and set everything. And let's see. Let me show you, Jiraj, what I'm going for. So this is my reference page. Usually you use like a few photos. So I got some sci-fi bikes, and I'm using it, to understand, like, not to understand, but to look at the shapes. These are some like Neo Tokyo, well, not Neo Tokyo, it's just regular Tokyo. So Tokyo, and I think Bangkok, and I think China. So it's China, Japan, and Bangkok. I have some scenes, some inspiration, some mechanical stuff, because I want this thing to be kind of mechanical. But the scene that we're doing is we're trying to do this. We're like, this guy's being captured. The scene's from Tron Legacy. And it's like him getting captured by the cops or helicopter, whatever. And the theme that I'm going for is like trapped or captured. So hopefully that's what I'm trying to do here, like trapped, captured. And I was blocking out everything that I was doing, right? I was blocking it out. In 3D, picking the camera, picking the lights, picking the stuff. And I was gonna do like grease pencil and put them in like different places, but I think what I'm gonna do, just to get an artwork out of this, is I'm gonna just draw over it. So I'm just gonna draw one flat plane over it, and then maybe afterwards, if I'm liking it, I can like move it into like 3D space and stuff, so I can actually have a 3D scene. But for right now, I think I'll probably draw over it. So I think it'd be easier for me to visualize what I want to do if I do it flat first and then push it to 3D. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish on this session, but that's what I'm doing, Jiraj. Jiraj says, I like Tron. Also, the scene you made so far looks nice and clean. Thank you, Jiraj. I appreciate it. Oh man, more stretching. Have you done that technique before in Grease Pencil? I mean, drawing over an image plane. That's usually what I do. I usually draw flat. Like I'm using Grease Pencil as kind of like Photoshop or something like that, and drawing over it. And I did want to take advantage of using the 3D, which I am. I'm using the stuff, making the reference, and then making it in 3D. But I'm realizing now, while doing this concepting and stuff, that I should probably draw it flat first, figure out what my design for like the lights and all the stuff is, and then probably take that and then move it into the 3D space and actually make a 3D space looking scene. So basically, concepting in 3D, concepting in 2D, and then concepting in the 2D 3D hybrid. I think it'll just be the most efficient. I'm still working out the way I like to do this stuff. There's nobody, you got to find your own way, and not everybody like feels comfortable doing it a certain way. I usually work with 3D all the time, so the 3D stuff is very easy for me. But I think I'm gonna draw over now, and I think it's gonna be better. I think it should work better. Oh man, so how's everybody doing? We got 5 minutes. Any questions? How you feeling, Jiraj? Yeah, I tried planes for the storyboard I showed you, but I had some display complications, so I'm kind of interested in seeing your setup. Oh, I'm just Jiraj, I'm just gonna be using this 3D scene, I think what you were doing is the same thing I'm gonna be doing. Like, I just did the 3D scene, and I'm just gonna draw over it in 2D, do some concepting design, and then figure out how to change it into a 3D space and stuff. So I think it'll work out better for me that way. We'll see. It'll allow me to like really just focus on drawing instead of switching my mindset between 3D, 2D. I can do 2D and then figure out all this stuff or whatever. But thank you for joining. Juraj, always a pleasure. You've been here like every Saturday, I think. I'm gonna do some more stretching. My back kind of hurts. Very important to stretch, guys. Super important. Do the stretching. Feel good. I got these tinted glasses, so honestly, my colors could be all screwed up and I wouldn't even know. And so, random but irrelevant, but do you still play Rocket League? Anzo, I play Rocket League on the console all the time. All the time. I'm usually training, though. I'm not like, I am playing like matches and stuff, but I usually am just training. I've been off it for a while now. But yeah, I think me and Jiraj are gonna be end up playing one of these days. I haven't had a chance to do it. Kind of a lot, Jiraj, kind of a lot on my mind. I thought I'd pass my school exam tests or whatever they're called, but it just keeps on dragging on. Jiraj says, I'm still waiting for you on Rocket League. Then the three of us should play Rocket League eventually. I'll let you know. I've been so busy, guys. So busy. Oh, you can check out my cat tacos, you know. Feeling good. Doing it. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to fit in some Rocket League time when you got so much work and school works. Oh man, it doesn't matter if you suck. That game is just fun to play. Stretching out, feeling good. All night, viewers, 2 minutes. Tell me how you feel. Tell me. Got the artist glove. Oh man. This is good. It's good that I structured it this way. 30 minutes going and 10-minute break, because I didn't do this normally, and man, I would get so strained. Oh man. All right, so basically, what is it? It's 5:15 over here. I'm probably going to do this one draw session in 30 minutes, and I'm probably going to have to pick up next Saturday to continue. I should not say finish. Continue doing the drawing and then transforming it into a 3D space. So, you know, this stuff takes time. You shouldn't expect to like do a sit down once and just do everything in one sitting. You know, like it takes a long time. I'm impatient, so this is why I'm like, I need to finish right now, but this stuff takes time, you know. It just takes time. So when you're sitting there and it feels like it's taking forever, just know that that's how long it's supposed to take. For somebody at your skill level, that's exactly how long it's supposed to take. By the way, why did you decide to have this timer format? You should make your window camera bigger during break sections. Good idea. I will change that for the next one, Ansel. Thank you. And the timer is because there's like a technique. I think it's like tomato timer or Podomore technique or something, where you're supposed to work in like 25 to 30-minute increments and then take like breaks. And, you know, I think that's just a smart thing to do. For me, it's for the stretching, because I don't do this. But it's also supposedly makes you more productive by working for 25, 30 minutes, taking like a 5-minute break, 10-minute break, and just going back and forth. Because then you can like refocus. Like I'm getting focused up again, you know? All right. All right, here we go. Okay. Fancy animation. Thank you, Ansel, for the compliment on the animation. I forgot to put on some drops in my eyes. Anyway, let's go to the drawing. All right, here we go. So let's fit in as much drawing as possible. So let's go back to our camera and move this down. Close this up. Let's go to our grease pencil folder. What are all these cubes? Okay, I'm gonna put all these cubes in the building. So they're all together, right? When the buildings go away. We're gonna erase this grease pencil object, that robot sign. It will come back, Susan, don't worry. It looks pretty cool right here. Robots. And it will come back though. So we'll delete it. We'll make it again. And now we'll go to our grease pencil and we'll add in a grease pencil blank. Let's zoom up on it. We got our plane there. And I'm just gonna offset my grid. If I remember how to do this correctly. Is this how you do it? Yeah. Offset the grid. We'll make it bigger. Maybe like 5 by 5. Subdivide it. Maybe I don't need this grid. All right, let's go to my grease pencil and let's figure out the drawing. And we're gonna draw over it. So it's looking pretty dumb right now. But we're gonna do it this way. I think that'll help me out a ton. We'll take off the grid. Where's the grid? The grid. Unknowingly, it's Tron Legacy related, huh? Okay, we took off the grid. We're gonna take off everything and see if I can just work like this. All right, so I'm gonna move my tablet closer, and then we're gonna start drawing. And it turning gray. Also, Jiraj, I got a question for you, Jiraj. When I go into edit mode, right? It turns everything gray while I'm drawing. And it's kind of annoying. Do you happen to know how to change that? So right now you can't see it, but if I put on the overlays, you see how everything turns gray? Like, is there an option to make it not turn gray? It's gonna work for me now, but it is kind of annoying. All right, remember to add your two materials. Shoot. Add your two materials, which is my fill and my stroke. There we go. I'm going to go to stroke. I'm going to use the pen. And we're going to make the pen smaller. We're going to use black, but we'll make lines. We'll make the line layer here. Lines. We will make it a dark color, but not completely black. I'm going to assemble my tablet a little better. There we go. Much better. We're going to get rid of our dude because he's annoying me. We're going to get rid of the 3D cursor. Now we got a clean board to clean with. Or use. And I think that's it. That's what I actually was curious about. I was wondering about that too. Unfortunately, I don't think that helps you. Jirash, thank you. No, that just helps me figure out that that's something I have to look up and figure out and then like put a video out there about, because it is kind of annoying. Okay, so let's draw right over this. I'm not going to lower the strength. I'm going to lower the... We're going to use 20 pixels. Let's see if that's big enough for this. Maybe 15. You can always fix them later. Okay, cool. And then I am going to make sure this is put to 0.1. Stabilize, we'll put it at the bottom. If I ever use it, I'd be holding shift. There we go. I mean, if you turn off the overlays, you can see it removes it. However, I couldn't find a separate setting in overlays. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. But I'm definitely gonna do a little research this week to figure out what it is, and then if I find out what it is, I'm gonna make release like a quick tips video on it, because it's something that I didn't realize I didn't like. All right, so let's see. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm essentially just going to trace and then add details afterwards. My next hunch would be that look around the preferences, but I haven't had much time for that. There's a lot of preferences to look at. All right, so I'm still tweaking my stabilization here. Right, almost there. Maybe I should just put it at the most. No. All right, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna trace over this. Let's see where we're going. So this is a car here. A fun thing to use is always like, what the hell? There it is. Oh, I just realized that my drawing is drawing in front. Okay, so we're gonna have to fix this real quick. See if I can do it fast. Is your canvas too far in 3D space? That's exactly right, Jiraj. We're gonna fix that right now. Oh. Okay, I think we're good now, right? Okay, great. All right, so my camera was actually in 3D space, so it was taking up some, like the cars were going in front of it. So anyway, I'm gonna draw these tires out, and it's an easy way to do this. Oh, that's crazy. Really? Also, these lights. Hold on. It's a lot of setup here, guys. All right, we're just gonna do this by hand. All right, so I'm just gonna be drawing these out by hand. You know what? I don't like these cars. So we're gonna take the cars out. There we go. No, it's interesting. A tool that I like to use. That's an interesting tool to use. Let me do it this way though. If I use the tool here, I use shift. Right. So let's shift here. Gotta get that hand drawn look. And then if I just draw this line. And then I use the cut tool. You can like cut that line off. And it's like a beautiful thing, guys. Use the cut tool. The cut tool is very useful. I'll show you how to do it again. We'll just draw the line. This. I think I don't like this stabilization. Anyway, so you draw the line, guys. Intersect it. And we'll fix those lines now. But you go to the cutter and you cut the line. And you cut it. And then we'll do it again. Oops. Cut the line. Draw. Let's draw this. You know what? My lines, we're going to do no stabilization. Sorry, I go back and forth on this stuff all the time. So the cut tool, Susan, is in your tool menu over here. Cutter. Right? So for the cutter tool, if you do a drawing like this, where you draw a circle, right? And then you draw a line through it, you can use the cutter and it'll cut whatever it's intersecting. You see? So it's very useful. Okay, we're taking off the stabilize. All right. I'll show you again, Susan, if you missed it. But so what I'm gonna do is get rid of this tool. And I'm just gonna draw this line all the way down. And we're just gonna go sloppy since I haven't done much drawing. We go in. I'm gonna do the drawing. So now we go to the cutter tool. And what I'm doing is I'm doing shift space bar and I'm holding it and it brings up all my tools. Then I get the cutter tool and then I just cut that line in the middle there. I cut this line in the middle there and I can just cut all these lines out. And it's pretty good. And then you can always go into this edit mode. Oops. Select all your lines. And then I'm going to hit shift smooth points. Smooth stroke, I mean. Just smooth out these strokes. You can make them thicker too. Right? We'll go to sculpt mode. And we can sculpt some of these lines in better. Oh. Oops, I am using the wrong tool, guys. Push tool. That's what I wanted. Do the push tool. Make it bigger. You can do some sweeping stuff here. Fill it out. Start getting this cartoony look that I was aiming for. There we go. Don't like how this line is looking over here, so let's go back to draw mode in the cutter. And we're just gonna get rid of all these lines. Use draw mode. Oops. Maybe I should just make the stroke way bigger. Mostly Colin, what's the finish plan for this work? So I'm just gonna call you Colin. Colin, the finish plan for this work is that I'm gonna draw. I use this as a reference. I'm gonna trace over it and then make my designs in 2D. And this is all gonna be on a flat plane. Once I get what I'm gonna be doing out, then I'll start converting the strokes into in 3D space and start making things out. The trouble I'm having right now is that I don't have an idea of the type of details I want, right? So I have the blocking out, which is what the 3D objects is for, but um the the 2D concepting is what I actually need to feel out the style that I want to do, because this looks realistic and that's not what I want. I don't want to do this realistically. I want to do this with like some sort of style, and then once the style is there, then I can start building out what I want to build out. So hopefully that explains that. And I kind of like this, I don't know, wobbly line look. I know it's probably not not the best, but I can always smooth it out later, and that's really what I'm aiming for. I'm using a bigger radius and I'm just kind of outlining what I want, and I'll see what it looks like afterwards and then how I feel about it. So So there we go. We got the wobbly line out. I'm at like 12 pixels, so let's go to like 6, which will be half. And then I'll do the details on the inside. So it'll be something like this. And you'll see once I get all this out and we start sculpting in those lines and feeling it out, you'll see how this will all come together. You have to really trust in the process because, I don't know, it looks like garbage in the beginning. Cool, cool. I dig your channel, by the way. I'm super into grease pencil. Good. So am I. I'm learning it with you. Ferdwin, this is the sort of stuff I want to use the line art and PR stuff for. Yes. I have not dipped into like an automatic version of making the line art. Like, what is it? Freestyles in Blender? I don't know. I just feel like it's a whole system I have to learn. Unless you think it's easier for it. Is it easier to just dip into that instead of me drawing into this? Because, like I said, I kind of like doing this stuff because it feels good. I can have fun, do some tracing of my own 3D objects. We'll go to 12. Oops, I'm at 6. Okay, and then to check my work, right? What I'm gonna do is, Anzo, have a great one. Thank you for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. To check my work, I'm gonna put everything in one giant collection. So let's put this, the buildings, the cars, onto one giant collection. And we can turn this off and see where we're at. Okay, so let's make a background layer and color it white at 50% opacity. I guess 0.50. And I'm going to what was I gonna do? Draw a white background here. Maybe not like ridiculously white, maybe like a blue. Oh, my bad. Okay, here we go. So now we can start seeing what I'm doing. But I'll turn this on and off as I go. We'll auto lock inactive layers, and we'll keep drawing. I guess freestyle is faster, especially if you have more lines to make. It gives you a different kind of control over the lines. Yeah, and it gives you like perfect lines. So if you're looking for like, you know, if you want some perfect lines, yeah, I definitely think freestyles is the way to go. I kind of like my wobbly lines. I don't know if that's a thing that's actually not good. I don't know. I don't know if it's not good, but I kind of like the wobbly line. I'll fix them afterwards. It's my thought process always. So let's keep going on to this line work. Fred's like, you, you got wobbly lines in freestyle. You don't need to do this. I definitely gotta check it out then. I'll put it on my list of things I gotta get into because I definitely want to be focusing more on characters eventually, and not this stuff. This stuff's a little fun though to do. Like I like doing it. Um, but there are gonna be times I definitely want to skip this. If with lawn sets and modifiers. Nice. I gotta really check that out. Let's bring in the line. All right, we're gonna do this building and then we're gonna start fixing up the lines. Cause they're looking trashy. Yeah, but Grease Monkey, you're right about there being no replacement for the charm of hand drawn. Yeah, I gotta check it out, but I'm honestly kind of putting it off because I'm, to be honest, a total noob with nodes. I believe I get the concept of them, but whenever I tried to produce something on my own, it went downhill very quickly. I definitely understand that. It took me a while to figure out the node material system. Now I'm pretty decent at it, but it took a lot of beating my head against the wall to like, really get what I wanted to get. The issue with learning nodes, right, is that you have to know what your tool set is. And the only way to learn what your tool set is by experimenting, seeing what does what, looking at other people's stuff. I don't know, sometimes you just want to make something and not learn something. So it can get real upsetting, you know? All right, let's just try and edit some of these lines. So we're gonna go to edit mode. Let's bring out our tool set. Let's select all our lines. We'll go to box mode, select our lines. And let's make them real. Oh, I am in the wrong. There it is. Let's select all our lines and make them thicker, smaller. So what we're gonna do is to fix these lines, I'm gonna go to sculpt mode instead. We'll use smooth and see how this works. We'll make the radius kind of big and we'll smooth out some of these lines. Maybe not by a lot, but we'll smooth them out. So obviously they're losing kind of like their form, and that's, I guess, fine for now. And we're gonna push some of these lines, add a little bit more character to them. I don't want to ruin anything, but I don't know. Who cares? Right. All right. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna skip break time, and we're gonna do one more 30-minute. So let's skip break. And we're gonna do one more draw. Okay. So this is it. After this, I am done, because it's been 3 hours already, 3 hours and 17 minutes. But I do want to get a little bit more drawing in. I know I am a rebel, Jiraj. I can't. I gotta keep going. I want to get some more drawing in. See, I kind of like the look of this a little bit. Let's see about thickness. Let's see if that. Okay, cool. So let's make them thinner. Let's make some of these lines thinner. Right. And I guess just for a test, you know, let's I guess add some colors to these. So let's go back into draw mode. We'll add another layer. And we will, you know, add in a chunk of color. So we'll call this fill, I don't know, .l for left. Because we're just gonna draw out the form, so then we can use it as a mask. So let's do that. Let's pick a color. Let's go with, you know, a dark color like this. We got some wobbly lines going. We're just gonna do this however we feel like it, guys. You just gotta go and you gotta feel it out. That is not the color I want. So we're gonna use tint. We're gonna make sure we're in fill only. We'll take off the strength and we'll make sure that this is the right color. There we go. It looks great so far. I wish you good luck and a lot of fun with the rest of the process. All right, Jiraj, I think you're leaving, right? So have a great one. I hope everything goes good with your school and stuff. Thanks for stopping by, my dude. So we're just gonna fill in these lines here. Oops. Just fill in these little gaps. You know, not caring if we're coloring outside the lines. Love to stay longer, but I gotta go. Yeah, it's almost 3 a.m. here. Oh man, go to sleep. I appreciate you just even stopping by, Jiraj. Have a good one. Have a good one, man. All right. We got this going on here. So now I'm gonna make another layer. And we're gonna say it's like fill, I don't know, .l, which will be left, .color. And we're gonna put a mask on it, and we're gonna mask it with fill.l. So now when I draw here, right, it should be only on the mask I essentially made. So let's bring down the opacity of both the fill and the thing here. I just want to see what I'm doing here. So let's do the fill color. And for right now, let's see what the dark side is all on the left side. So let's just start filling up some of those dark shapes. So see you soon, Jiraj. I think he left. Oof. Hopefully he has a good time. Okay, so we'll go to the draw. What am I doing? Go to grease pencil. Go to draw. My base layer, I put the opacity down like 0.8. So for the fill color, even though it's the same color, it's going to come off dark, which is kind of what I want. There we go. And I'm just doing this by just drawing in the shapes. I'm not trying to be perfect. And the reason for that, guys, the reason I do this is because sometimes when you're getting too technical, you kind of like lose the fun and you lose the flow of like what you're doing, you know? So I would always err on the side of fun over getting everything perfect because you don't want to like get upset while you're doing this, you know? Like, unless you're working for a client, yeah, maybe. If you're not working for a client, you're working for like yourself. I just, you know, I don't think there's any reason to like be too hard on yourself, you know? It doesn't have to look perfect. I know you may want it to look real good, but look at this. It doesn't, it's all wobbly. It's looking whatever. But it looks like it's something. Like we know what's happening here. You know? You know, we'll add some lines here. You know, some wobbly lines, not caring. Just feel good about the process, guys. Just feel good. No reason to make something that you do for fun super annoying. You know, I'm adding in where I think there's some shadow. I guess there's some shadow here. I don't know if that should be a thing. But there's definitely shadow here. So let's do that. I like that look quite a bit. Yeah, it looks like, you know, like I'm doing a thing. It's amazing what just a few colors can do for an image, right? And the background for me right now, the background does not have to look super detailed either. I made it all detailed and stuff in the model, but honestly, maybe I wasted my time. But as long as you got your big shapes and your middle shapes on your background, because my main focus is going to be the character. I'm really going to draw that character good, and then the thing that's like looking at the character. I'm gonna draw it really well. As for this stuff, you know, you can just kind of pick a palette, and you can just kind of have fun with it. Like, let's see what this looks like. This palette may be a little too bright, you know? Actually, let's do this. Let's put this color on... Oh, shoot. Let's put this color on the one with the lower opacity so then we can add some shading. It doesn't have to. You've conveyed enough information for the viewer to figure out what it is. Exactly. And that's the important part. I spent so much time, like, just trying to be so perfect and draw, I don't know, like, meticulously, like a photorealism. And honestly, once again, like I told you, it takes the fun out of it, you know? And what you want to do is have fun. So I got my big shapes, my middle shapes, different colors. Let's go back to our color and add in the shading. I'm going to look back at our scene here. Our shadings on the corners, on the side of the panels. So let's do that. So this shading was going to be, we'll do it on the fill here. Do it right up on here. There we go. This is looking all right. And then this one should be filled out to the top here. There we go. And this one doesn't have anything. I think it's like right on the edge, but there we go. So this is from what our 3D is, guys, to what it's looking like now. You know, looking all right. Has a style. Has some like cross marks, but you know what? you just gotta feel good. I feel good about it. We're gonna keep going. Forgot to do these tubes up here. And by tubes, I just mean antennas. So I might just do that, or I might just keep on keeping on. So let's go back to our grease pencil. What do we have? 20 minutes? Okay, so okay, so got our layers, we got our fill. Look what it looks like without the lines. I kind of like it without the lines as well, you know? It's looking pretty fun. Okay, so we got our lines. We'll call this lines. And then we'll keep on going. And then we won't worry too much about like the line thickness and stuff as we keep going. But I don't know, still keep it in mind. So we'll make our background back to 50%. We'll go back to our lines. We will go to draw mode. We would go into the stroke. I will pick a color that's not fully black, which is, I don't know where this is on the scale. It's like 0.1 vibrance, so I think that's important. And for this one, I'm going to use the 6 pixels. As it gets further in the background, I'm going to just make it thinner and thinner. So let's do the rest of the pieces here. This may be even too thick. We'll see though. We can always change it. There's my undo changing my color again, which kind of gets on my nerves. But it's okay. What I'm doing is I'm using this width, this radius, as my outlines. And then I'll go in with a smaller piece or a smaller radius for the rest of the inside stuff. There we go. We'll fix those lines later. We'll just keep going. I think I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom. The end of the I'm just getting out the buildings. Feeling good about them. As you work, try to think about feeling good about what you're doing. And not because it's what you want it to be or whatever, but just feeling good and being in a state of mind that, I don't know, you feel good. Hopefully this isn't just mumbo jumbo here, guys, but I'm not kidding. It's important to feel good. Or else your brain turns you off. If you make something painful when you do it, your brain has a way of remembering that it's painful and then not want to do it. But if you think about it in terms of like, yeah, you know, I got scuffed off a little bit, but it was fun. You know, you can push through that. So I'm getting way less detailed out here. There we go. Maybe I don't like that one. All right, so now I'm going to go into a smaller pixel. So I'm at 4 now, pretty small. And then I'll do some of the inside details. And honestly, this is all too thick. I'm going to fix it afterwards. I'm just getting my lines out. All right. So we got our lines. And they're all... Oh, we forgot this building. Why does my color change? Oh, no, it's because I'm on the background layer. Let's go back to our lines. Can't see back here too well, so I'm gonna just take off the white entirely. There we go. Should probably erase this line. Oh. Okay. Alright, we're just drawing the lines now, guys. Going through, we're almost done. What do we have? 14, 15 minutes. We'll color these. We'll fix them up in post. I'm sure everybody loves hearing that. Here are our lines. We got our... This is good too, because we're breaking up the bigger shapes. There we go. Alright, so let's bring back our background. I think we got all the shapes here, like... Okay, great. Got our lines. Got our background. Alright, cool. So we we set up our lines again, right? And we're gonna fix these lines. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to sculpt mode. And I'm gonna choose the stroke up here. This makes it so I can select the lines that I want to affect. So excuse me, you heard that. So let me pick the lines that I want. Can I use lasso? Lasso, maybe? It's weird. I can't... Doesn't seem to be selecting my lines. The stroke? The lines? What is happening? Oh, it's because I'm on the background layer. I keep forgetting what layer I'm on. Lines. We'll select the stroke up here. We'll hit tweak. And then I'm only going to select the lines that I want. So let me select circle select. With circle select, you can just kind of like paint what you want. So I'll make my size bigger or smaller using F. And I'm just going to select all the lines that I just made. Holding shift as well if you're selecting multiple lines. Cool, so those are all the lines that I made. I'm on the stroke mode. Now, in sculpt mode, I'll hit smooth, and then I'll paint over these lines, smooth them out a little bit. Just a little bit. Let me go back. They're losing a lot of their shape. I'm going to do 50%. So we'll just sculpt those out a bit. Let's see what they look like normally. I think that's good. Smoothed out. I'm going to go to the fill layer, which is fill L. And I'm going to use the same color that I used before. So go to draw. I'm in fill. Go to solid. Pick that color, which I believe is this one. And then I'm going to draw in my background color. And just for this sake, I'm going to select this at the top left. Draw strokes on back. And it changed my color. And that's pretty annoying. So let's do this again. Pick the color. I'm going to change my strength down and then back up just so my undo works. This option selected so it'll make the strokes appear behind the strokes that are already there. So I don't have to worry about ruining that orange piece there. See? Boom, I can go right over the orange piece. Boom. Okay, cool. So we got our pieces going. Now we can go to stroke color with the same color. Since this one is at 0.8 opacity, it's like lighter. We can go to stroke color here, use the same color and use the same color for our shading. So let's see what our shading looks like. Let me bring this back to 0.8. I'm gonna Okay, so the shading looks like the darkest is on the left, middle on the regular shading, and everything does seem like it's going the left side. The light's coming from, I guess, the right back, if I remember. So let's go back. Let's go to draw mode. And let's add the shading. Let's go to color fill, same color, and just draw in the squares that I need to fill. Boom. We'll just do all three. We don't have a darker one, so we'll just do every single piece that looks like it needs it. Maybe we'll keep that brighter. I guess we would do this one as well. Great. We'll do this one. This looks like it needs it as well. And we're just drawing it in, getting the feeling down. There we go. What's wrong with this one here? Okay, so let's go do this again. So it looks like this is dark. All the way down. And that's like a circular shape, so. All right, so let's add a dark piece over here as well. We'll go to back to draw mode. A dark piece right here. You know, barely adding some details. I think this is a piece here as well. There we go. We'll probably color this piece as well. Great. This piece is probably there. And now we're just shaping it. Now I'm just feeling it out. What I think looks good. This piece obviously there. Maybe something there. I don't know. Maybe this right here a little bit. Feel like it's like some sort of edge. Right. There we go. And I got my 3 orange pieces that stick out on the left. And I got less and less detail at the end there. 6 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my drawing, something that's not completely black, and then maybe add some more details here, like maybe we could put our robot sign here. Except it'll just be row bow. We got our robo sign for Susan. I guess we could put some details here. Like there would be windows here, right? Like maybe we can imply those lines there. Just adding just some small details to the space. This probably have some like too bright. I mean, too large, I should say. Let's just add some more lines. Let's go back to like 6, 5. Maybe we can put some details here that would make sense. I think the detail that I want, maybe near the brim. Let's see if this looks decent. We'll go 3 pixels. I don't think we're ready for the small details yet. We should be focusing on big pieces. See, that's me. You gotta think. You gotta stay in the rhythm. But what I should add up here is probably some more things like this. Let's put the line there. This would probably need an antenna, right? That looks decent, right? So let's put some antennas here. I'm gonna try and go angular. Maybe something like this. 2 little lines there. Maybe some antennas here. These can probably just be black. Like just single lines. They don't need to be anything grand. Some block here. I'm kind of filling in the details that make sense to me. To really just start filling out the scene. Have a little bit more detail on the left. Honestly, I should be waiting to do these details, but I got 3 minutes. You know. Let's just do that. I don't know if there's some details I can put here that would liven up the scene. Now that I put those in there, I'll go to my fill color. And I'll go to fill and I'll choose the color. And I'll change the strength and I'll make sure that I fill that in. Put the colors that I think are supposed to be in here. There we go. We'll fill it in with these as well. Fill this in. We'll go to this color layer and we'll fill in the dark. There you go. Some dark color there. Maybe we'll put one same thing here. Great. So we got our color. This is what it's looking before and after. So our scene's looking, it's gaining some life, guys. Let's add a couple more details. I got what, 2 minutes left. Maybe some door detail. Maybe I'll just do it, yeah, with this fill color. There we go, some doors, like if people can actually enter these buildings and they're not just flat surfaces. Here we go. You know what? There would be shading underneath it, right? So let's put some shading underneath there. So that's looking like, you know, implied space. For these, I think one side, maybe I have 1 minute, maybe I can finish it. One side is darker than the other, so let's do that. See if we could do it in a minute. Boom, boom. There will be darker pieces here. This will be a darker piece. This will be a darker piece. This will be a darker piece. That starts to feel a lot better. I feel like this should be a whole piece too. Maybe I could do something like an implied shape here that like feels good. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see about that one. An implied space here. There's just, I think this, oh, this definitely is a space that needs to be filled here. Boom. Okay, so this is looking a lot better. And I'm feeling good about it. Some details in, and we could definitely fix the lines. Okay, that is the timer. So this will be the end of the stream. Let me go to the wait, guys. Wait for the outro. Let's see if I got the outro here. So we'll do a little break here. So just to do an explanation, I'm not going to take the full 10 minutes here, but I did a drawing. I got a grease pencil, and I'm just drawing it on flat. I'm not using 3D space right now. You can see that it's all just being drawn on this plane, and it's flat on this plane, and I'm just drawing it over. And I'm just using the 3D that I have back here as a reference to help me out with figuring out how everything is supposed to look. I'm using cameras, and I use all these 3D shapes. If you scroll to the beginning of this live stream, you can see it all. And you know, we're going through the process of drawing over it, because I did the concept for the 3D. I'm doing the 2D where I do it flat. Then once I figure out all the knickknacks and things that are supposed to be in the scene by, you know, drawing it in 2D, because it gives me a nice long period of flow, then I'm going to start making and putting the grease pencil objects in 3D space. And that's how I'm going to build out this whole scene. So while it is 2D now on this 2D plane, I do plan to eventually make it like a 3D scene with grease pencil elements. I just need to figure out the concepts and stuff. So let me go to my outro page here. All right, guys. This is the outro. I hope you know, you enjoyed this. I do this hopefully the music's not too loud. I do this every Saturday, 2:30. If you enjoyed what you're watching, please like and subscribe. You can always come here, hang out with me on a Saturday, ask me some questions about the work or not about the work. It could just be about grease pencil, or it could be about Blender. I just want to say that thank you guys for watching, 9 of you, and you know, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And Susan, it's been great hangout. I appreciate you being here every Saturday. Ferd, thank you for the conversation. I think Jiraj is gone. Who else was here? Colin, if you're still here, I appreciate you jumping in the chat and chatting me up. Ansel's gone. And Marcellum, if you're still here, I appreciate you being here and watching. Marco, appreciate you getting in the chat. Sam Rodriguez, if you're still here, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you too. So I think that's everybody that spoke in the chat. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please subscribe, help me out, and I'll see you next Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Much love. I'll see you later, guys.